Meglebas, ya Meglebas, Meglebas, Meglebas.
Heroics turn to ban.
Like, you have to kind of go AFK while your TA is farming. So I think they should put a high priority on maybe getting some runes for the TA, potentially even the TA just like trying to get a bit active even earlier within that time frame, because I'm really worried, and there's a reason we don't see a lot of TA right now in the mid lane. It's because around that 6 to 12 minute mark, you just don't have a mid, right? And that's a lot of things can go on the map where you need your mid to be active.
Yeah, you basically have two carry heroes in a game, and you kind of have to really leverage on your off laner to do all the heavy work, you know. And if your off laner doesn't really have a good start, or even not good enough of a start, he might struggle doing so many things in the game.
What do you guys feel about Luna for Tundra? Do you think, like, because Devi has been playing Marci off lane, and I wonder, is it too rough in lane? Is it too risky in lane against an off lane Marci, where you can maybe get killed on the Luna?
Luna Inch?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just a strong lane.
It seems like a really strong lane to me.
Yeah.
I mean, like, there's no other obvious choice. Just like if you pick like a Weaver or something that's more maneuverable. I mean, you could always go from Morphling to that band out.
Morphling's out.
Morph is out. Yeah. So I mean, it's fine, right? It's just the nature of a lot of these heroes. You just gotta be able to apply the pressure. And whenever you play against heroes like Marci, for example, that can just like
Is there anything that punishes a Marci way more, like a Monkey King? Is that still in the pool? Something like that?
Well, outside of that, what are you expecting to be Heroics last pick then, if you think this Marci is a core? TA, Dragonite also being core.
Marci's not a core though.
That's what I'm wondering, like, are they looking to pick up a 5 or a 4 in the last pick?
It's a carry DK mid TA on analog, and then Devi on Marci.
Yeah, well,
I mean, that's the most frequent roles that they play on these heroes.
Interesting. I haven't seen a lot of the off-lane Marci, because this hero is the same as normal Marci. Are we going auras, or are we just going BKB? I'm a carry too.
He's the carry.
That's kind of greedy when you got a TA mid.
It's a bit greedy.
I mean, a bit greedy is like an understatement.
It really is.
And they have a chance to counter
nice
pick.
there.
I honestly, like, I am still feeling the Luna, just 'cause I feel like they can abuse the greed and group up and push with that hero, while also not like lacking an early game carry.
I mean, there is a chance that Pure just plays this Mirana, right? And that would actually be really good for them, because the Marci can't really kill Mirana.
Yeah, that is a good point.
Yeah, and then you could just.
Why do you believe the Marci can't kill the Mirana? Because of the leaps?
Yeah, I mean, usually how Marci kills you is she just rebounds you in a spot you don't want to be in between two heroes, and you just slowly die.
What about our Ags? You rush it. I mean, that just sounds like such a grief build.
I mean, I'm more worried about the laning stage than like the mid.
I think that's just way too advantageous.
Yeah, this is a very,
that's just like
a very good pick.
Another Mirana, honestly, just a hero that has a lot of mobility. Even if you get rebounded, you just skitter away.
It's gonna be very hard. It's gonna be very hard for them to catch like a hero like Weaver. Their best stun is like the DK stun, which Weaver can easily dodge away.
Yeah.
And your other heroes don't really have very reliable. I mean, Ice Path is a lot better nowadays, but it's still gonna be difficult for them to.
Nó phải á, còn gì sao lên chịu, sai giờ lưu ý đề, sao bông này giờ để trả hại được
I mean,
này quá đủ.
very strong support in the lanes. The Pure and Starfire, not like the weakest support duo, but because of the nature of their draft, they're being so greedy. If they don't get enough from the lanes, I feel like the game is just going to be over very soon.
Plus one to that, pretty much. Like, I feel like when you have a lineup like that, this is like
Saksa Mirana, Saksa.
You need time, and the way you give yourself time is all three of them.
Saksa sẽ
I
cải
really
pin
like
ra tông lâu này hai game bài.
because you know Ench wants to go through the portal. Ench wants to gank. Ench does not want to sit in the lane.
Less support.
You can rotate mid with the 5-minute catapult, although people are not doing that as much these days because more portal rotations. But the Weaver is like, I can't think of another carry that's better to leave alone in a lane. Maybe like a DK.
Leave alone?
Yeah, just leave alone.
Maybe Life Stealers of old and stuff.
Yeah, like when it was a good hero, right? But Weaver right now seems solid for that. And then he can also go through the portal himself.
Yeah, we see that a lot from other carries that like to pick up the Weaver. Do you want to say though that you think it's definitely going to be going in the way of Tundra, not just outside the draft, but you think execution-wise as well, it leans that way?
I think this is a very Tundra style draft. They got everything they wanted, and they're playing into something that's very greedy. I'm gonna go Tundra.
Okay, very quickly, teams.
Yeah, based on meta, Tundra.
Okay, all right, we're all Tundra here, and that's lucky for you because Nomad has our coach on standby for the side of Tundra. It's Moon and Nomad.
Thank you very much, Nadia. I'm here with Moon and Meander. How you feeling? I mean, those first 4 picks were really quick from you guys. Does that kind of represent your kind of confidence and maybe predictability from Heroic?
Yeah, we knew what they were gonna do. We chose what heroes we want to give them, and yeah, so it was pretty fast.
All right, so they've kind of done everything you're expecting to. Does that mean you've got like a ton of confidence coming into this game? Do you feel like this one's kind of in the bag?
No, confidence, yes, in the bag. I don't think that I think that way about Dota. I just, see what it is. Sometimes opponents, they try to surprise you with some strategy. Like this game,
30 seconds to battle.
Bust out the Templar Assassin. So we'll see how it goes from here.
All right. So is there anything you think could go wrong for you guys in this game?
Yeah, the Viola
ဟီရိုဘက်ကဟီရိုတွေကအစင်ရတော့လုံးဝကြာကြီးဆော့အောင်မှာဒီကောင်တွေပြီးရင် AC ကောက်လဲမှာထိန်ကန်ဆော့ပြီးတော့ဟိုလာတူလာချိန်မှာလည်းအများကြီးလုပ်လို့မရဘူးဟီရိုအစင်ရ
Moon Meander shouldn't say it's in the bag because he's been here before against one specific man on the roster of Heroic. Isn't that right, Avery?
Talking about Hector?
I am talking about Hector.
There's been a lot of Dota players at TI that have played against Hector, and they underestimated Hector, and then Hector knocked him into the lower bracket, or he eliminated them from the lower bracket. I do not underestimate Hector.
No, you do not. You have been adamant. You said this man finds a way to make top 8 at TI, and you would be absolutely right about that. At TI 9, Infamous, they made top 8 by beating the North American squad of Newbie. TI 10, well, we'll not talk about TI 10, but TI 11 on Beast Coast, they managed to make it top 8 by beating Evil Geniuses, and then last year, they actually made top 8 through the upper bracket by beating none other than Tundra. They beat Tundra last year in this exact same format, managed to take down Tundra in order to get upper bracket, and then they went down to the lower bracket, and they made top 8 there by beating... Do you remember?
No, actually.
He was playing on Nouns. It was the North American Derby where it was Shopify had to play up against TSM. TSM beat Shopify. Then they had to play up against Nouns, which had Moon Meander and Whitemon on it. So there is a lot of history here with Hector and this squad of Tundra, both the organization and individual players.
I think this is where he shines. There's something about these clutch first 2 rounds of TI matches that this man, his playstyle just excels. And I think it is the consistent. If you look at Hector, he always finds farm, something that Heroic play around, and their other players are going to come as the Viola.
အေးမာစီက position တစ်ချက်ကျော်လို့မရဘူးအေးမာစီ off lane ပဲဖြစ်ဖြစ်
To me,
support
it's
ပဲ
a
ဖြစ်
big
ဖြစ်
piece
ကျူ
of
နာနဲ့
up
အ
the
သေးတာ
crack with the Steam Hype.
Never
We
do
never
not believe
assume
it.
Heroic
That's
are
three.
underdogs in these types of matches, even if on paper Tundra has been the far
ကွာတက်လာလေမနာချင်နေဘူကလည်း
don't want to let this team get away with their playstyle. Cause the chaos around the map, Schofield's making space, the Violama's diving you under towers, KJ is getting deep wards, and all of a sudden Hector comes out of the jungle with 2 items on your enemy here. Like, that is how they're going to win a game.
Fast play.
Tundra need to control the pace, control the map, and just play their style of Dota where they get farm on all 3 cores and eventually just steamroll you at 5.
Absolutely should not underestimate a South American squad at TI. They have caused many an upset in the history of this tournament, and we saw probably the worst looking of the South American squads in Beast Coast already managed to do a little something there against one of the best teams in the world, the Falcons, taking him down in that game 1. So definitely Tundra. I mean, you got some veteran players on here. Maybe Soxa didn't play with Tundra last year, but I'm sure he watched what happened there, and I'm sure he has told his team not to underestimate these guys and not to underestimate the Davaya Llama Marcy. You said you wanted to talk about that a little bit later. I mean, we see this combination before too. Snapfire plus Marcy.
It is deadly. We saw how much first damage comes out with the extra hits coming in on top of the bodyguard. This lane combination is ferocious. Kind of reminds me of like the Timbersaw Lion lane that we've seen a bit. The amount of spells you can just throw out consistently over 5 minutes, and the amount of first damage that come out with the synchronization is extremely high. So you can't just be up on the side trading and find yourself caught in no man's land. You're going to get bursted down. And we have seen the Viola just be able to dominate the lane. RC. And the biggest factor to me is he has found a huge amount of net worth on this hero that I think people just understand. There's been games he's leading the net worth chart at 15, 20 minutes on a hero, in theory, that has no real farming. So you cannot give him a good start on this hero. He does a lot of work with it, and you can't underestimate it. Like you said, Tundra to me, they do have a lot of veterans on this squad, and I go back to Thompson here. You're starting kind of your upper bracket run, in theory. This, to me, is a player where, I mean, you play against this man, flip a coin. Like, you're either going to get him on, you know, some mid-Shadow Shaman and he's 0-8, or like he's playing Dawnbreaker and he goes 20-0 versus you. He's Invoker, he's styling on you.
Will it be Dogson or will it be Godson?
Yeah, it really is a coin flip in some ways, and it feels like it's out of your control. Like, it's in his control, right? How much he shows up on any given day, what he's playing, what new way he's going to play it that you might not understand, and in some ways your best strat is to just pray. He doesn't do what he's done to a lot of other teams in this tournament to you on any given day.
There is something about this matchup mechanically, the Snapfire Marcy, what's really interesting is this bodyguard facet. You actually link up with the Snapfire. This is a combination. You use the little shredder. She does these multiple attacks. They count as attacks, so bodyguard will trigger if you're standing next to each other within that bodyguard AoE. So this combination is very dangerous. We've seen Dalai Lama put it to use, and it's been something that has been largely unsuccessful for Heroic. They actually have terrible win rate with this Marcy, but it's something that maybe they figured out just in the nick of time because they brought it here at this tournament. They've only played it one game so far. Prior to this, they did take down Gaming Gladiators in the group stage with it. So it's definitely something that maybe that didn't go the best early on in the season, but they figured it out in the nick of time.
I mean, I don't know how much stock I put in that. I feel like at this point, every team in the world is taking down Gaming in the group. So far, though, lane's going Tundra's way. They have the top 3 network cores, top 3 CS pretty much, and they're getting the Enchantress roam to mid with the Weaver, who's pretty independent. This is a kind of explosive support duo between this Piranha and Enchantress in terms of the roam potential mid, and it's not something that often you want the Templar Assassin to play into. This is the big impediment for Analog in terms of getting his hero up and going, converting into ancient stacks on the triangle later. Enchantress is just the king of early roams to runes and invading the triangle, getting deep wards up, snowballing off some support kills. Heroic really need to keep checks on these supports and make sure this TA has a good game. Already though, he's just getting dominated on that CS track. Thompson is putting in the work one-on-one. There's been a little roam action a bit, but honestly, this Invoker 17 denies. With the extra deny XP you get off the innate.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one. That's a good point. Shot down. Whitemon does die here, so Heroic are still picking up kills, but you can see from the net worth, it is not changing the fact that CS-wise, Tundra is walking a pretty big lead ahead. And now they've got this big push coming in, but they're so afraid of their Wisdom Rune getting stolen. They're actually going to back away and 3-man bodyguard this one. Pure's going to go for it because the Weaver is one of the best carries to try and contest this exact situation. You're trying to pull away from this Wisdom Rune, see if they can get it. Managed to hit the stun, and Dalai Lama gets it, but now he's low. Hit by the tornado, he's going to come back down to Earth and have a hard landing. So does KJ. King Jungles goes down, and Schofield, the 3rd man down in this fight. Yeah, they got their Wisdom Rune. They protected it, but losing 3 heroes in the process, it was not worth it.
Analog can do nothing but watch his team go down. This is just not the early skirmish hero that you want in these fights, unless you can just run people down. It just doesn't have spells. Tundra bring the numbers, outmaneuver Heroic in this early lane stage, and are building a significant lead. And I was talking about the experience differential. It's starting to add up. Thompson's like a whole level ahead of this TA just in the one-on-one. He's already pushing towards 8. This is a hero that can just get out of control because you get the extra levels, you start building up these extra cross points early. Your spells are stronger, your lifesteal stronger, you're insanely tanky with the early Wraith Band treads. This is not the Invoker of old that you can just start right-clicking to death in this early part. Thompson's gonna fight you back here. He might be the strongest hero on the map right now. Just a straight-up duel.
Do you think this is a situation where Heroic, they went very greedy with their cores? The panel is talking about it. If they're doing core Marcy, that's going to be one of the greedy lineup. Well, it ends up being core Marcy. And we saw Dalai Lama, he goes like kind of just this carry Marcy build. He doesn't go like auras or anything else. He's going to go BKB. He's going to punch you in the face. Like, Are they going to be able to fight Tundra if they lose the lanes and Tundra starts snowballing into this 15-20 minute window?
In theory, it could get pretty bad. Like, if you really start to close out this map with the Invoker running around, the Enchantress Mirana can connect to any of these plays. You get Arena, you're worried about an arrow coming through, potential Sunstrike on top of that. Yeah, it could get nasty around the map, but the onus is on Tundra to snowball, right? If the map gets shut down a bit and Heroic can stall out this early game, they can recover.
My Llama, I think he spotted the Ghost Walk or something, knew that the Invoker was here, but ultimately his retreat was into a dead end. No support was going to TP in to help him out. Snapfire is now there to pick up the experience and gold of the creep wave. Ramsey's pushing in the creep wave on the other side of the map. Tundra seem to have full control of this game.
They are getting the power pressure they want, which is this mid-bottom. The last piece of this early game for Tundra is going to be, can you invade, take away the stacks from this DKTA lineup? Because you're talking about how can you stabilize and recover with the 3 cores here. I mean, it's your stacks. It's your ancient stacks in particular for these 2 cores. If you lose enough of the map here that you can't secure those, you are going to start seeing a lot more than just supports on the map. And Divine Llama nothing off this play. Hector, not happy about the early game. This man does not like when his teammates start being around the map.
And Pure, he goes through the gate with Divine Llama, follows him everywhere he goes, kills him, and gives him a tip too while he goes down to his grave. Now the Templar Assassin is going to start clearing through those stacks, yeah, but if your other 2 cores are struggling, like there's only 1 set of stacks. There's only 1 core that's going to be able to farm them. What about the other 2?
I mean, that might have been what Hector was yelling about. You take my stacks. Someone's getting off this team. It's usually not me. Thompson's just went this early witch blade as well. Is gonna do some serious damage. Just run into anybody across the map, hit him with this witch blade, force him down. You're gonna have either support that can connect to you. And then this Weaver's just gonna be able to play solo. Like, you don't have the best ways to set up on him and actually all in him. You can harass him, but your stuns are pretty limited unless you're bringing like, multiple supports or you get this TA shard later. I think that's a big piece of the puzzle here for Heroic. How fast can you get this TA silence up off the trap? Yeah, to kind of deal with the Invoker, deal with the Weaver. But his game has just been low.
Oh, great ice pack on 2. They needed some serious setup to be able to make these hits land, and it's still not enough. And now Ramsey's coming into the arena. He hits KJ with a spear once again. He's making no qualms about just dropping this arena whenever he wants to pick up more kills, pick up more farm off of an already successful laning phase. They do manage to push Tundra away from their tower for now, but they are going to start bleeding out more and more objectives with this kind of net worth lead. Tundra rocking a 5k net worth lead at 12 minutes.
You have to bite us on Hector. Choice, maybe feels like this early game's so rough, you gotta recover and just push this old lead. I mean, I guarantee you he will be highest net worth at some point in this game. It will happen. Will it translate into anything productive? I don't know. The game might be in too bad a state, but he will find his farm. And for Tundra right now, the biggest objective is this tier 1 mid. They want to force this down, open up the ancient area, get rid of this tower, this zone that the TA can fight around, because if Analog loses his tower, he's going to be stuck in no man's land. Right now, you can still fight around this, set up your traps, and get a good engagement. No snap ult though. It could be hard to repel. These ranged heroes are just going to start putting in the
They've got great supports to defend towers, but there's only so much you could do against like 3 or 4 man squad of Tundra that's bullying you and has a net worth lead. So eventually those towers are going to drop. That's the second one that Heroic have lost. And if they lose that offlane tower, then you lose full control over your ancient area, and that's going to be free for Tundra to invade at will.
I think a big part of this meta has been the rise of ranged cores in general. Yeah, but also just this concept of a ranged hero with long-range nukes. Because you can start to force people out of areas. And I think it's one of the things Heroic are going to feel. Like, they have a hero who's pretty low range. You have to be fair.
Is that enough? So close. 20 HP.
Like this dual breath compared to things like an arrow setup or something, you know, it's a bit clunkier. And the Marcy has to get in there. The DK kind of has to get in there. TA needs to get in there. well. Tundra just running around with their Invoker Mirana edge. They can start to poke you down, see what's happening. Plays like this, you're scouting out, getting information. Fairly low risk.
Yeah, speaking of getting in there, Mirana and Enchantress can play in your jungle, and Heroic really do not have the heroes to go for the punish. You saw how easily Saksa was able to evade Divine Llama's attempts.
You need the TA Blink and Shard to really close the gap on these heroes and convert.
Played for your 15-minute
So we boy line ပဲရောက်ကုန်ပြီလေရှိရလေ bro ဒီကောင်နေမ spam ကြတာအဲ့လောက်ကြီး
Well, Hector's trying to build up what net worth he can, but he's struggling to catch back up to the Tundra cores, who are all sitting at the same net worth, 7,300. We're seeing such parity.
And all these stacks have gone to Analog. I don't think Hector has seen a single one. I do not think he's too happy about it, but I mean, that's where the Midas comes in, I guess. Maybe part of that decision. Like, if I'm not going to get stacks, I got to get the extra experience somewhere.
Strategically speaking, like, why do you think Heroic opted for such a slow-paced lineup? Because I do not think of Tundra, they're maybe not the fastest of the European teams, but they are a European team. Like, you know they're going to be able to pick up the pace. I just question whether or not the greed, this was the team you wanted to go greedy against.
I mean, there's not a lot in this tournament you're going to do much better against. Like, there's a lot of European teams left in this event. There's a lot of teams that are going to play strong laning phases. If part of your strategy is to get a little greedy and try and outscale your opponent, I mean, it's not like there's a lot of good matchups for you.
You're
going to have to just plow through some of these teams that are going to take advantage of it and have a lead and just make their recovery.
So if you have a playstyle, you kind of have to just rock it and find a way to make it work.
I mean, if that's how they want to play, then you just have to go with it, right? Will it work? I don't know. It doesn't seem super favorable in the meta right now. But if there's a team that can maybe make it work, it is comeback potential. However, right now, this game has all been Tundra. They are just continuing to swarm the map, and nothing has shut this Invoker down. Thompson is just running around absolutely free. No sentry trap set up. Limited detection. He's getting what he wants right now.
And what he wants right now is Hector's mana and a forced rotation. Divine Llama TP's in. The rest of Heroic are making a mass move over here, but are they going to be able to grab anything? This time they do have the Gunfight pad lands onto Thompson. That is a better target than any support, and they will manage to bring him down. The kid is looking for more heroes. He saw the Warlords there fire, trying to look for additional heroes. They do not get anything else out of it, though. So, Heroic, okay, 5-man rotation to be able to kill Thompson. It's maybe worth it, but I would say barely.
It's worth it. You need to get this hero off the map. Like, he is the biggest prize right now. Slow down the momentum, relieve some of the pressure.
Oh, Sox is still in the round, but so is Ramsey. Managed to hit him with the arrow here. Sox is going to be careful. The ice path is coming out. Hits him. Does not hit him, but Analog hiding away in the melt. They don't have detection right now. They are going to be able to blink away before the Gleipnir.
Taking some space.
Doug, it reveals the Snapfire, and it is so much Magnus armor that Schofield dies in an instant. As good as Schofield is at drawing attention and wasting time, that didn't waste any time for Tundra.
It'll be interesting to see how Tundra itemizes from this point out. Like, how many BKBs do they want to commit into here? Because on one level, the BKBs help you ignore the supports on the side of Heroic and just power through the fight. But these are some cores on Heroic. Yeah, they're greedy, but they are almost all physical damage oriented. So the BKBs don't necessarily help you just man up and trade versus these heroes. You kind of want armor, scaling damage, maybe, you know, Solar Crest's Vlads, these type of utility items that are going to help your Weaver and your Invoker man up at some point in this game. Or you can maybe itemize to just kite fights out. Like, bait the Divine Llama jump, bait the TA into jumping into you, and then use the Gleipnir and the Bug to kite out the fight. Analog barely dodging another play here.
Dire's top tower.
They're going to need to keep making fast moves like that, though. Schofield, not sure where he was wandering to. He jumps, he just kind of casually leapfrogs over Analog, who was retreating, and takes the brunt of Tundra's attention instead. Smoke up and a fast move by Tundra. Sweeping over to the other side of the map. Are they going to catch Analog in mid? They going to head up to the top jungle area where they know Heroic members are currently existing. Ramses once again goes fishing, tries to catch Analog. Analog too fast on the blink. Hector is underneath the tower right now. He commits for it.
He's gonna pay the price.
Find Divine Llama, who does not have a BKB, so no way out of this one. Tornado Sunstrike lands perfectly.
That arrow almost scouted him. I actually don't know how Hector got out of it. That was a long TP.
ဟိုကတော့နှစ်ဖာနေဗီဒီယိုတွေကအမဒီဘိုင်းထဲမှာမာစီ off lane နဲ့
I did tell you it'd be high as now.
မာစီ off lane နဲ့ဘာထွက်
He's getting there.
တော့9600
True to Hector's nature. Almost gets caught, almost gets ganked, almost gets scouted by an arrow. I mean, and his TP is not back to base, it's to another area of farm.
Yes, this is his old play style. He developed it a long time ago. TP to farm.
This is a man who would TP to points on the map just to speed up his farm by like 20 seconds.
Yeah, downside is you can't join a fight if it breaks out. Yeah, he has no interest in doing that, so it doesn't really matter. This will recover the game. Heroic have stalled this early momentum out a little bit and stabilized their top two cores, but this Marcy's going to continue to suffer unless you can fight. And I mean, you just have to get the BKB here on Divine Llama, make some kind of play. If you're Tundra, you are definitely looking to steal Roshan at some point. Take it away from the TA here. You are super happy whatever happens after that because the fight looks great for you. The TA is going to lose that kind of power spike, or at least getting the Roshan clock to start ticking down in this game. And the second steal, but nice.
Tundra have so much control of the game. I'm surprised that they have not done Roshan already. Like they have, they have a pretty good hero for being.
I think it's coming up. I think they're going to consider it during this daytime interval. They're probably waiting for the BKB, at least on Ramses here. We'll see if he goes his like patented Deso build. Really favored in the last few months. Ramses does not like to not be like in half the playoff.
KJ, he'll give the shard.
Under attack.
Probably not what you wanted. But a little bit of percentage-based damage. Smoke up here from Tundra, and a 3-man gank squad is looking for somebody on Heroic. Heroic have vacated any of the areas on their own side of the map. Hector continues to do Hector things and also be employing a Nightfall impression here pretty soon. As undoubtedly when he runs down these lanes, he knows it's going to be a BKB TP way.
Trying to stall as much time as possible and set up for a play.
Oh, yeah, Ramses. He throws out the arena with the BKB. Is he going to try and commit for the kill on Jakiro? No, he knows the damage is too much from Analog. He's just got to get out of here. Cannot afford any pickoffs right now. Schofield's going to try and slow down this push forward from Tundra Heroes, but Ramses, he pounces once again. Schofield hits him with the cookie, just to buy 2 more seconds of time before he goes down. While he already caught Divine Llama, and now he's looking to get more off the Gleipnir. Might be able to get this Templar Assassin. Saksa not able to get an arrow out, but the damage is still enough to get him on the high ground, and Ramses isn't done yet. Pins KJ for a 3rd kill on this Jakiro. He just will not stop hunting down this support.
Dive the base, get away with it here. Heroic lose 3 heroes. They lose that Hector BKB on the TP back. He can't connect on anything. And Divine Llama's still sitting here wondering what he's supposed to do in this game. This Marcy pick has not worked out at all. Tundra just running circles around it. Still doesn't have an item. And the Hurricane Pikes are coming out. You're going to have Hurricane Pike, Invoker here for Thompson, Hurricane Pike, Weaver here for Pure, and that BKB on Ramses. All 3 pretty strong defensive items in this game. It's just a lot of HP to get through here. You don't have the tools for it anymore. You're running out of time to recover this game if you're Heroic right now. And this gold lead isn't massive, but again, like, your chances to take a fight and get this Marcy back in this game are dwindling. And Tundra know it.
Do you think, I mean, you obviously think that the Marcy needs to be a force in this game for Heroic to have a chance? Why can't they just, you know, trust in Hector, let him farm up, can carry Dragon Knight, just carry this game?
I'm not against 3 farm cores. Okay. I think the way Tundra itemized, like all of their cores like to scale into the late game, they're all going to be a problem. They're all going to have a lot of control. I mean, the Weaver Gleipnir bug, what the Mars is going to bring to the table, the Invoker with limited hiding, right? Like at a certain point in that fight, you were just saying, there's going to be another BKB down.
Yeah, they were hoping to be able to catch him off the spear. Man, they really almost got him there. That damage was amping up. But
this is an important BKB. Like, you have very limited windows in the fight as this Dragon Knight to get stuff done before the Invoker starts to control your damage output. And every time this BKB goes down, it hurts you a little bit more.
Hector does. I mean, he's just running down lanes constantly whenever his BKB is off cooldown. So
somebody's got to open up the map. And he's
doing it. The other side of the map, though.
Hector, he knows that aggro is coming his way, and he quickly retreats back to the high ground. Tundra, I'm not going to catch him still. That gives Analog some room to push out top, just like Hector was doing 35 seconds ago.
I mean, honestly, I think Hector has played this game about as good as you can play it from his position. At some point, you have to fight, and Tundra are done messing around. They're just going to force the Roche on, get an Aegis on the Pure. You know, high ground potential on top of the Weaver BKB, opted for that. Over the Hurricane Pike earlier, I think he's totally fine here. Don't want to be susceptible to the A-Trap silence plus chain stunning. Fair. Go for damage. Get the Pike in fact, yeah. Use the Aegis to propel yourself to a better power spike here, and I mean, the name of the game is just going to be smoke across the map, get a big pull pick off, you go high ground on that. Gem for Ramses now helps keywords and
yeah, deal with TA traps as well.
Time since we see Hero try and make a play.
Macropire missed ice path though. Soxa easily eludes that one, and just like his cores, and it just runs down lane and accepts his fate. He doesn't have a BKB to get.
He's also just going damage on this Mirana. Dragon Lance for the Mirana into the Pike with the Solar Flare on top of everything. We didn't mention, but it's very good for this tri-core lineup and good for the two supports. This is another reason I just don't think you're winning ultra late heroic, even if you get to it. Like, you're looking at 5 right clickers that are all going to be buffed up by Solar Flare. Yeah, that sounds extremely difficult to overcome.
Get the spear back. Even if it doesn't come with a stun, the reposition is good enough. Divine Llama jumps in after him, pops a BKB, and finds that 5 right clickers is indeed a problem for him. And chasing in here. It's a trouble. Chain stun. He's going to lose that Aegis. No, Ramses does manage to hit a beautiful pin onto Schofield with the arena locking down 3. All he needs is the heroes to follow him up. He'll die inside of his arena. The heroes couldn't get there in time from the side of Tundra, though they will grab that gem. See if Pure is able to get out with it, though. He's away, out from underneath the tower. No problem there. And away they go. So, a trade-off of Ramses and the Aegis for 2 kills, a gem. Not too bad.
Honestly, that there were a lot of little things that went pretty well for Heroic in that exchange. That could have been a game-ending push if I think Tundra played a little more disciplined, slow, and you know Ramses went in very deep, gets caught by the rebound under the tower. It's a great arena, but ends up just going down. Kind of an awkward fight. Hector gets to connect, some big damage for once. He gets to use a BKB to not have to TP out. So I guess when you're in your base, there's not hard to TP to.
Launch that one again. So they start off with a poke, beautiful spear back. Blow up the Templar Assassin so quickly.
Did force the Mars BKB out early, which I think eventually is what costs Ramses on the second goal. Of course, you're going to take this TA down, open up the 5 for the 6 on 4. Nice chain study here to take down the Weaver. This is a great arena. The rest of the team is nowhere near. Llama does get to put in some work here.
Yeah, he's like one God's Rebuke from killing 3 different heroes.
Yeah, that Deso. That's true. This is where he's probably like, I told you guys, the Deso build's broken. Why not building this Hex? Hex is the very disciplined choice. It will absolutely ruin these heroes off the initiation. Like, you can go for the Hex, guaranteed spear back, throw down the arena, and then...
Yeah, it gives them better opportunity to shut down this split pushing that Hector and Analog keep on doing, relying on their BKBs to get away.
And this is not a game you need to actually get.
You got it! You got the Wisdom Rune. He's smiling about it.
I mean, honestly, probably worth it.
That's true. Show on a wave or anything.
BKB TP only.
In the same jungle that he's been doing non-stop.
All right, I'll pose a question. If you're Thompson, it's like the 3rd time this has happened. Do you buy Basher here?
Does he buy Basher?
No. I mean, it's Thompson, man. Give this guy a chance to buy a weird item. He'd probably take it.
He buys a second site. They can have 2 sites.
Can't sight
Yeah, but he can
bash.
He can be Ghost.
Ruin his day.
Well, now you say it. Alacrity. He's getting to some of those later talents. Alacrity Basher.
I'm not gonna say it's good this game, but I don't think it's that bad. Like, you got the solar flare attack speed, you know. If you bash the Marcy and her BKB in a random fight, it sounds pretty good. He's already got that.
တော့ဆန်ပါရလေးဘရိုတော့ဆန် info ကမှကျွေးနေတယ်
Plan was
share
get Aegis, get a
share
pick
like
off,
you.
go high ground, try and end the game, right? Yeah. Ultimately, they are looking for that pickoff of Heroic Heroes because Heroic know they can't just sit in their base the entire time. That is the whole entire reason they have managed to keep this network from spiraling out of control, despite the fact the score is 5-21. I think Tundra has never been up more than they are right now, which is just 10K.
Yeah, I think they're very comfortable with their position, but this isn't a complete route. I mean, Heroic is going away. This is not. It's gonna fold completely.
ဟုတ်အဲ့ဒါဒီလမ်းတွေကကိုလမ်းတွေကဆက်ပိတ်တာလို့ဘယ်ဆိုင်အောင်ဝယ်တာ
You're gonna push ahead of that.
ဘာလဲ FRB နဲ့ပါလေ
The site. Follow up, chains up, spear. And they got the damage.
Yeah, it's a huge grab from Ramses. Putting the head and use find the biggest target. Can't beat BTB out of that, my friend.
Well, there's the pickoff to let them take at least 1 lane of barracks and less to buy Lava to do something about it, but his jump has already failed and his BKB is wasted. Tundra
Divine Lima, Divine
still
Lima,
another 50 seconds to take the
We're on Gachi
Life of Marcy versus so many long-ranged heroes. Yeah. It is a nightmare to get that gap close in. Shamil interacts with Tundra, see how much more they can get off. There's still 40 seconds on that Dragon Knight respawn. The Midas levels pushed him up too far, too fast.
True, Stillheimer is too long. And leads to Tundra going for a second lane of barracks, forces out the lift, and resume their assaults on the tier 3 tower.
You're gonna have another jump potentially from Ramses here if you really want to just stay around, or even back up at 25.
Gotta jump on a pure
Sana ha pure show
managed to bring him down. Wow, didn't lose anybody for it either. Now Tundra's gonna start backing away. Mortimer's Kiss is gonna be used to try and chase these heroes, slowing them down as best they can. Ramses does manage to get a spear back onto Analog. That'll create some space. Whitelock gets his TP canceled though. Divine Lava lands onto Ramses as well. We'll get a 3rd kill out of that. Hey, what Hector who? They didn't need him apparently. Managed to make a 4 versus 5 work for them. Three kills for nothing out of it.
သူတို့စကားလေးပြောနေတာကမ်းပေါ်ရပြီလား
Roach is potentially
ကမ်းပေါ်ရှိရလေ
so if you can get some
ကမ်းပေါ်ရှိရ
here, get the lanes in. You got a chance to contest. Huge misstep here from
အာဘရိုကျွန်တော်မနေ့ပြန်ရောဒီနောက်ဒီလာပိုင်း15ရက်နေ့လောက်ထိကျွန်တော်မဆွဲပါဘူးเนาะအိမ်ပြောင်းမှာမဟုတ်လို့15ရက်နေ့ကျော်လောက်မှပြန်လာပါပဲအားလုံးပဲစောင့်မျှော်ပေးကြပါ
And I mean, just got caught sleeping. There's no way around it. He gets rebounded into cookie stun for the dev. Just not something that should have happened with how much displacement and force stabs and disruption they have in this lineup. And I was mentioning that arena was coming up in 20 seconds. Could have just waited, push when the arena's back up and let Ramses get another jump. Now this AC on Hector is done. He has the shell as well. So much extra armor on this Dragon Knight.
Look at the network just tumbling down as off of that great team fight, but then also the towers that they got. They got 2 tier 1 towers off of it, pushed a bunch of lanes, obviously got a bunch of creeps, neutrals. All of this adding up, they're going to take a 2nd Tormentor as well, which Analog still does not have his shard. I don't know if he's in contention for this one here.
He's hoping he gets it off one of these Tormentors.
And he does.
That is value right now. Wow. That is really value. The fact he didn't have to invest in this. Gets it at a later point. I mean, you could argue
မြန်မာစကားနားလေတာမြန်မာပဲလေဘရိုမြန်မာစကားနားလေတာ
in a game where you can snowball with kills on the map, but obviously that was never going to be a position. So you will take it at a later point. It could pay off in the second half of the fight.
Yeah, it's not going to pay off in this exact situation though, because doing that Tormentor signaled to Tundra that Heroic was nowhere near the pit, and they will take that. So Heroic have not managed to use, don't forget they have the Templar Assassin passive too, where they know exactly when Roshan is going to be, and have not managed to take it for themselves either time. Tundra go through the gate, smoke, and push to the other side of the map. Courier is about all they'll get as Heroic have...
Vector knows, man. This guy knows. I don't know if he knows how much extra items are about to come in for the next few minutes here.
Yeah, what are all the items they're getting?
I mean, there's just so much right click on the horizon. Like, you're looking at more damage for Pure. You're looking at a Daedalus for this Mirana. If Soxen gets to it, Dragonlance into another Pike for Whitemon. And Thompson, creative as ever, eyeing up a Butterfly here.
Radiant's
right click and
courier
go.
Right, for the Basher.
Exactly. He
Get
will
out.
go. He will go
flying
Butterfly
it.
Abyssal here.
Dyer's top
Flying
tower.
it, don't
It's
pretty
pretty tempting when you have the Elven Tunic as well.
Just see.
Just imagine Ghost walking into melee range and abyssaling somebody out of
sounds
it.
damn, dude.
That
Not gonna lie,
sounds sick.
This Invoker is going to be pretty nasty in the fight. You're not really thinking about MKBs here if you are analog right now. Put the Butterfly on top of the Tunic here, you're almost at the 50% evasion. Yeah. It's going to be a lot to just power through.
Yeah, we've seen some of these Invokers turn to this right-click build. Laurel from Team Spirit did it in the past.
It's strong.
It's strong.
It's very strong in the late.
Is Heroic strong enough to step up to that? Still a 6,000 net worth lead for Tundra, and they have an Aegis to work with. Taking the mid lane of Barracks, and they're looking to take this final tier 2.
Oh, what the hell? Hey, what the hell? Oh, that's why you are doing it. Oh my fucking god, don't say yeah. Got like it, don't say.
And Kira's going to be able to get off the ultimate, so there are clean here. They're going to be able to chase down.
Let go, let go. Ah, TV, don't say, don't say, don't say, yeah.
Trap laid out from King Jungles on the high ground. It's just the
Đúng không thì sao hắn đảo à, đấy mẹ. Che show. But I'm like with the cái giao này. Say nào rồi.
Beautiful setup. Maintains his position on the high ground. Finds the angle. Didn't even have to use the Dragon Knight BKB, I think. And they recovered the gem, I believe. Yeah, so honestly not the worst trade here for Heroic. Because, I mean, you're going to trade Divine Lava for anybody in this game every time.
Dude, that is such a Thompson, like, tornado right as K1 Hector. Then he mantas the attempt jumped it from Divine Lava.
That was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful.
So clutch, and then
ran into a nice pass. I mean, what can you do? That is life sometimes. But I mean, I don't think any of them expected this. Path into 4-man macro, and you're just stuck on those trap charts, and the Manta had already been piped aggressively. Just no way out of that. I mean, Divine Llama's woes continue in this game. This has been a very frustrating game for him. Oh yeah. He is 1 in 9. He has 1 item. But he has to just keep going in. There's no way around it. Has to believe that they can make the comeback in these fights off the late game physical damage powerhouse that the CA Dragon Knight can pose.
It has to believe in Hector and Analog to carry the game.
Really do.
Certainly will not be it. He's going to be jumping in, maybe stunning one hero.
I will say Marcy's a hero where if you get to that BKB basher, like you can make things happen. Yeah. If you find that magical bash on a core hero at the right time and the right place in the fight, that can be worth a lot of net worth.
I mean, we've all seen these support Marcy's, you know, like the game goes a little late, they get BKB basher, and somehow this support with, you know, 10,000 net worth of items is all of a sudden killing core heroes. So, Analog able to blink ahead of Ramses. Blink for blink every single time.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
And using the Marcy passive and the couriers, the extra HP on the courier, they've been using these couriers really aggressively, and you see in that situation, scouting out a bit of the triangle area. Into an attempt to stun Hector. Not all in on killing Pure. The team not ready to jump on that situation. After all, the Aegis is going to be expiring quite soon. They just want to stall this out.
Difficult to go high ground if you're not willing to commit with the Aegis, which expiring here, you don't want to just let that expire and be stuck. They also get the Ags on the Jakiro. Not insignificant amount of damage if these fights can go longer. You're in a high ground defense situation with buybacks. And Hex for Schofield, this is the big one I was going to mention. He was keeping a large bank total here with over 4,000 gold. We'll just finish that up.
Heck, drums, Scythe. That's quite the inventory.
Downside is your positioning in the fight can be a little awkward to use this, but it gives them a lot more chain stun protection. Like now you can PK stun into Cookie and to run up hex somebody, and they're probably gone. Thompson did go back for the BKB over that butterfly. Felt like, all right, if I can die to Ice Path, that's probably a little too much here.
Maybe the butterfly is a little too missed.
And a refresher for Ramses is going to be a huge item. Double up your arena, double up the BKB site here, get the job done. And where the Mars becomes a huge late game team fight problem.
Templar Assassin and Dragon, the Dragon form anywhere, both ranged cores. Those are they negate a lot of the damage that you're trying to throw around in these fights. 10,000 net worth lead for Tundra, 23-9. They've been here before, and they found that one bad fight cut down a significant amount of that lead that they've grown.
They're going to smoke out, try and find somebody lingering, but Tundra are not going to give them any sort of kind of running out of slots on this Dragon. You already sold the Midas, you finished the Lincolns here, which is a nice defensive item versus the Hex and sorts of initiation tools, but it's another slot that isn't damaged. You have to wonder if you're going to run out of it at some point.
I do kind of, I feel like sometimes in these kind of games, where you're just kind of holding on for dear life, it's hard to recognize that, like, at some point in time, you're like that. Llama is going to jump for it. Both are able to retreat a bit here. He is isolated. Heroes, but Heroic will retreat back to the safety of their high ground walls.
Maybe hoping for some bashes there. Was doing a decent amount of damage to Ramses. This is not a matchup Ramses enjoys, honestly. Even with the difference in their net worth, like his kit doesn't do anything to Divine Llama if you get on top of it. So there is a window there, like we saw, where he can make his impact up the fight. But it is such a small win. Second year BKB is out, you're absolutely gone for all these ranged heroes that are going to kite you. There are so many so many hurricanes Tundra can use. So many minds right there. Just Daigle and Tunnel and Mirana. This is a nightmare lineup to get caught without the BKB up Ramses.
Oh, they could catch the initiator of Ramses, but the smoke is going to break on an invisibility.
So there's just nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, they can't push too hard on it because they don't even have all their heroes with them. This was just a 3-man excursion. Butterfly done for the Weaver. KB may start becoming a very valuable item for Heroic. Will they be able to get any with double butterflies on the horizon for Tundra?
There's a lot of evasion now. To get through it, Tundra are going to take the aggressive option here. Smoke. Again, that Roshan is coming up in the next few minutes. It's a little awkward of a time if this goes wrong, but maybe the smoke is almost a defensive smoke. If Heroic are going to try and contest this, we'll take the fight, but otherwise we just play for Roshan here. And it was the strength link for Hector, which again, pretty tanky here, but not the highest damage output item, if it comes down to it.
Oh, the Manta gets off the BKB, turns around, stuns up Ramses. Now Ramses gets psyched on top of that one, attempt to hit him with the cookie. Pierre's gonna jump forward, go for Schofield. Schofield, he'll be diced up by that damage. BKB has to go up from Divine Llama as Ramses attempts to catch him inside of the arena with a spear to go.
Pierre gets the kill he wants. Fall back, control the Roshan here. Playing around Ramses' initiations. Lincoln pays off for Hector. Mantha dodged the second round of the control. But nobody else was there to help him turn around. Could have been a dangerous. Not BKB on that go.
Tundra, unless they do not know exactly when Roshan's going to spawn, but they know it's going to be sometime soon. Question is whether or not Heroic is going to be able to contest the third Roshan of the game. As it's going to spawn right as Schofield's coming back up. The lanes are being pushed in pretty aggressively. Most bottom lane is the problem. They willing, yeah, they're going to have to give up. So it's going to be Aegis Cheese, Refresher Shard, a banner.
Their best chance of high ground just get stuck into buybacks, like going deep into the axe macro, things like this. it really worked towards the
ซัก
Heroics
ซ่า
advantage. But they also have abilities to just cleanly jump.
ซัก
and
ซ่า
have
လေး
a
ရော
lot
အဲ့
of
ဓာတ်မြ
damage
ကထွက်တယ်
output
နော်
to this
ဖရီဂေနဲ့ဟာရီဂန်
have
ဖိုက်
found a lot.
ဟုတ်တယ်ဒီကသုံး
You
လို့
have a lot of threats in the fight. A lot of things you're gonna have to worry about, especially with Solar Flare backing all of it up here and multiple butterflies. You're looking for the MKB on the Templar Assassin here, trying to race towards it if you were analog. There is no MKB.
နောက်ပိုင်းစပူတွေကအိုက်တန်နေမလို့ရေသာပဲလို့
Ancient Guardian will give him some damage in the base event.
Tormentor, that gets Hector the fireball. Not that it's probably going to do too much for you here. Pure, who TP'd to mid to get some extra experience to put him over the line. He is 25, so that extra Geminate attack. He pushes forward and comes out of that Chikuchi to hit somebody. That person could just get kind of one shot as 3 different hits all come out at the same time with the potential for crits.
I think Heroic are just gonna jump a core if they show that is not Pure with the Aegis. They might jump Pure as well. They have to be decisive here because this siege will technically just go on forever.
There you go.
Pops in a very far. Secure with Butterfly.
Lightning leading into Tornado. The kisses gets canceled. Now Ramsey trying to counter him. But he gets counter hex. Can they blow up in time? They're trying for it. They throw it all their stuff. But he managed to get off his BKB arena. Now the turnaround. Pure gets a little bit low.
တေးရရအေးလူညာရဲ့16လောက်ရှိတယ်ဘုံကမနေရ
Walls after walls. Hector's not
ဒီ
getting
ဝိုင်းပြစ်ချက်တွေဒီကရဖတ်ချက်တွေ
BKB usages early on.
Sam
and
Lauchet.
means that his BKB does not last long anymore. The second lane of Varus taken up by Tundra and 3 minutes ago on the Aegis.
I mean, these Hurricane Pikes, just such a nightmare for Heroic to fight into. It just bails Ramses out at the very end there. Double arena. Nobody can engage the fight to follow up and help Hector at that
Radiant's
point.
top tower is under attack.
Forces his buyback here. Buyback out at the Bai Llama. You're missing the BKBs.
Yeah.
You're missing the Marcy ult.
ပွဲရတကယ်တော့အစိုးရပြရမှာအဲ့ဟောကြာသွားတယ်၄၅ပြစ်ဒီပိုင်းရောက်သွား
The Dire now have
Squeeze
mega
this game out.
And they're going to keep the pressure up. They're going to go for the tier 4s. While Analog is still dead for 45 seconds, Heroic going to have to go for another miracle hold here like they did in the bottom lane earlier. Another 4 versus 5. Now it's going to be a 3 versus 5. They do manage to jump Pure, but again, he's got the Aegis. So as much as they can commit to try and finish him off, what does it matter if he's still got a second life right around the corner? And that is going to be it. Heroic are going to call GG on this game 1.
They just got, I don't want to say they got run over, but
GG နာပါလို့ GG နာပါเนาะ game တွေက first game တွေကတော့ဟဲ့အောင်အဲ့လိုပြက်နေတယ်ပြီးသွားတော့မှပြန်ခန်းပတ်တာအဲ့ခွက်တွေပြက်နေတယ်ပြီးသွားတော့မှပြန်ခန်းပတ်တာ
knew what Heroic were going to pick, and like Moon said, they were confident.
That is a really good question. They were, doing okay to push it towards that late game. They were able to hold the high ground in that bottom lane, forced Tundra a little bit, at least to try and wait for that second Roshan for themselves. But at the end of the day, it was not enough for Heroic. Lanes just kind of fell apart a little too quickly, a little too fast for them. And I think that really started in the mid lane, Winter, in terms of looking great for Tundra. And that was able to transition again into making the side lanes even better.
Yeah, there was also the lane that I felt like they thought with the TA they will be able to gain some advantage out of their lane, and
Right.
and I'm not really sure about the matchup, but it seems like Invoker doesn't really lose to TA, and if that's the case right now, then why are you doing like the TA into the Invoker? I mean, sure, you can have the shard into the Invoker later, but overall, because of the nature of the lineup again, the greed, you need more than that, like it's just not enough, their early game. It doesn't really catapult them into the middle game and give them time to get to the late game where they are DK, Marcy, and TA shines.
I can make excuses for Analog here, because I do think this is something that happens in a game that has such frequent and impactful patches, especially with the fastest patch coming out, completely changing the game. The issue is that he has all these instincts that are telling him, like, as a TA player, like, historically, he's always beaten Invoker's mid. It's been a hard counter. This patch comes out, I'm sure he's played it in some pubs, but he's a tier 1 mid. He's playing at the International. He's beating people in pubs because he beats people in pubs. He's just better than them, right? So you go against Thompson, a player who is exceptional, and honestly, he played this game almost flawlessly. Like, he played so well. and all of a sudden you realize the matchup isn't what it once was. And I'm sure he'll adjust that in his mentality. This happens a lot when you have the patches come out, and sometimes it just takes a game like this to happen for you to realize like this is not what the matchup is anymore.
A big question mark as well is not many teams are able to get away with showing double claws in the opening of their draft. Heroic picked up the Dragon Knight and then the Marcy as well. Divide really struggled on this Marcy. I know it's not like one of those things of, oh, bad hero, you shouldn't pick it. There were a lot of rotations to his lane early, and then on top of that, where he went to somewhere that he thought he could get free farm, before you know it, there's the Weaver and the Invoker showing up again for you, and this Marcy was really falling off in net worth.
Yeah, there's a lot to say about that. I think in the draft itself, I'm just like, Marcy's not a core, and Jenkins like, yeah, she is. He plays it, and I didn't believe it. Now I see this game, and they tried.
You still don't believe it. It was a core.
I mean, I don't know if I believe it.
The network didn't show that it was a core, but let's just start with why they picked it. They're cheesing, right? They're going for this bodyguard facet with Snapfire, and theoretically what this does is you put the bodyguard on your Snapfire, and then whenever your ally attacks, you attack. So you start the little shredder up, and then it's like some cheese effect, which is outstanding damage that normally will get kills. But unfortunately, you're playing versus like a Weaver who's just going to run away from that damage, disengage. They end up losing that, and there's a reason why these heroes like Doom, for example, are super popular in the offlane. These Mars, these heroes can farm if they get behind. They have abilities and spells that can farm, and this is why Marcy in the offlane typically is not picked, because if you do go like 1 in 12, well, maybe not 1 in 12, but that's what he ended up. If you do have like 1 or 2 deaths in the laning stage, there is no comeback mechanic. This hero does not farm. It needs items to farm. It does not farm with spells. So if he gets shut down, and it looked really bad for him, and that's kind of what I'm getting at. Like if you don't win your lane with Marcy, inevitably this will happen because there's no comeback mechanic.
Okay, here's a question. How much Divide Llama have you guys watched over the last couple of years?
Quite a lot.
Quite a lot. Would you agree with the sentiment that maybe this is not just a Marcy thing, and that he is just the type of player that he is either 12-1 or 1-12? Like, we saw it on the camera. He's an emotional player, and I think it goes both ways. Like, he can 1v5 take over a game, especially if he's playing like one of his Siggies like Timbersaw, but it can also go completely the other direction where he just snowballs out of control feeding.
I agree with that, yes, and I feel like if you, well, so here's the question. Do you want to put him in a position that's really feast or famine to match his personality, or do you want to try to neutralize it a little bit by picking something more stable?
I mean, don't you feel like being on the off lane and being feast or famine playstyle is just such a liability to your team? Like, off laners used to be described as the backbone of the team, you know? You're always going to be delivering the amount of work to your team, regardless. It's not like too much or not too little. It has to be something linear, you know, every game. But with his type of playstyle, I feel like it might not be so good if he continues this trajectory of being so feast or famine.
Yeah, I think it also really leans into Tundra here. They did not alleviate any pressure at all. They were consistently, once they were able to take that tier 1 in the mid, just in the side of Heroic's map here. And so, I mean, look, Tubson coming up on our screens, he was the biggest contributor, being able to transition that win in mid lane for himself into those side lanes and everything. But that's an added effect as to why no one could even really get anywhere. Even the TA, who still had a considerable amount of net worth, there's no impact. Nothing was really coming from it at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to talk about Tundra just because they just played well, you know? They played good Dota, very standard Dota, where it's easy to just kind of like focus on Heroic and what went wrong there. They lost all 3 lanes. They picked a very greedy draft. Hector's going Midas instead of Armlet on DK, so the one comeback you do have potentially as Divide Llama is maybe your carry joins a fight here or there and you get a couple kills and get a return there, but he's AFK farming. He doesn't have an Armlet. He can't join these fights. Mid lane, also known, very greedy. TA just farms. Yeah, she lost her lane too. She's just farming. So you're in a situation where you just can't play Dota anymore. I said before the game started, they had to win all 3 lanes to really make this strategy work. They lost all 3 lanes, and it was just pretty straightforward win for Tundra in my eyes after that happened.
Yeah, I agree. I really like the kind of hybrid play style that we see coming out from some of these players. Like Saksa in this game went for 3 bracers on Mirana into Hurricane Pike. It's like it does seem like it's earlier and earlier, but I think that's just because of the nature of they were doing so well in this game, and he had such high net worth. We saw.
Not every position 4, despite it being a scaling hero, can do that.
No,
We
not
could
every
do that.
position. It requires the right game, but to identify that we are so far ahead that he had a damn Daedalus at the end. But in my eyes, this makes the game impossible to come back in, because you're going to have to use all of your resources to kill the enemy carry, like to kill the Weaver. But then because Soxa has built like this, all of a sudden you have no resources, and then you have to deal with a second carry. And you look at Thompson, the guy has Hurricane Pike Butterfly on mid Invoker. He's also building to scale. So it's like the items are scaling items, and there's the adequate amount of group up items that are being picked so that you can like choke out the map and be active. But once they're able to choke out the map, they build scaling items on all of the heroes that they can get away with. So it's just about finding that golden ratio of, okay, we can group up with this, and then at this point, let's all scale.
I mean, this is why you can't play alone. Like, you need to help everybody get rich, you know. Like, as a carry player, you can't just like, oh, I'm going to buy Midas. Those idiots, they can't farm, you know. I'm going to have to do everything on my own. I feel like that's a pretty bad mindset. Instead, you should be thinking, okay, everyone's having a hard time. I have to come out. I have to, you know, get my hands dirty. I have to help my offlaner. He's already crying, you know. I need to get him back into the game. My mid laner is struggling in a matchup where he's supposed to win. So mentally, he's done. So if I don't come out, if I don't do something, the game is over, you know. But instead, he chooses, I'm going to get Midas and, you know, screw these guys, you know.
Yeah, it's rough. I was a little unsure about Heroic, where their mentor would be after this, because looking at Devi, I mean, that's the highs and lows of watching a Devi game, is you're going to get his player count no matter what. Is it going to be enjoyable to look at? Well, that's, you know, a little up to interpretation there, but it's nice to see the team all gathered around there, having a bit of a pep talk with each other, but I think they should also be talking about what needs to be changed up for the draft. Their opening phase bans were that Shadow Demon, the Omni, and the Viper. Really, really standard things, but now's the question of, are standard bans going to give you the advantage over Tundra? They like to pick a lot that's in the meta, favored by a lot of different teams. So is it more changing what you want, or making sure that they aren't getting what they want?
I mean, there's a lot, I think, of their draft that I wasn't really feeling. First pick DK was one of them. This is a hero that is seen a lot of play, the most played hero. It's not doing super hot. So that's definitely one thing, but I think what they should really focus on more than anything is having a good draft, a cohesive draft that makes sense with each other. They tried to cheese it with the Marcy, I get it. TA mid, there's a reason we haven't seen a lot of it. Maybe pick something where Analog can make some rotations, you know is going to do well in the mid lane. Something, I feel like they tried to cheese that game, the best way I can put it. You got offlane Marcy and TA. These are heroes that aren't in the meta right now. Maybe, you know, dial it down a little bit. Pick some more standard stuff.
I will say about Devi Lama and his mentality, he is very emotional in the game, but he's also known for being very quick to reset. I've seen this exact scenario where game 1 is this, like, you know, very goofy looking thing where he's dying a lot, and then game 2 he is completely like carrying the team on his back. So it's not like he's not been in this position before. It is his first TI, so there is that question of, will that trend continue when he's got all of this pressure on his shoulders? But I'm fairly confident. Like, I think he's just a really emotional guy. You see the frustration, but it's frustration more with himself and with the state of the game. It's not like he's like flaming his team.
Of course, I didn't expect him to be in this voice chat being like, I can't believe you're doing this. This is the worst game we've ever had. We're a terrible team.
I've just heard the rumblings that, like, people don't mind. It's like people almost like that because on the flip side, like, he really hypes up his team if they're winning and if they're doing well, and you see that in the way that they snowball.
I mean, to build on top of that, I feel like in the draft, if you have to choose someone to draft around, I think based on what I've seen, like how they play as a team, I feel like he's the person, Dalai Lama, you should be trying to draft around, because I feel like he has a very, very positive effect on the gamer and in the team, like raising their morale. So if you try to draft around that, even if you have to pick his hero early, try to just make everything like around it. If he's being on a carry off lane, then you kind of have to try to scale down on the mid laner, or probably not the carry because it's Hector, so you have to scale down from the mid laner and try to make him play, you know, for the off lane. You play a Monkey King, whatever rotating
What the
hero,
fuck?
go to the offlaner, open up the game and help him get it.
Luckily we have this graphic there, because I was going to ask you guys what are some more of those quote-unquote standard offlaners that Devi likes to pick up for himself, but we're having this graphic here of showing us what has been played between the two offlaners so far in the road to the international. 4 different heroes for Devi, 6 different ones for Ramses.
I think this top right one is a big consideration for bans. Nat, you asked about like what going forward should Heroic look to ban. I think Ramses, it looks like the most exceptional Mars player right now. Every single time he picks it, seems like his team is able to rally around him. He's able to start every single fight. When they're pushing high ground, he's the one that's getting the right initiation. He'll go in, bait BKBs, and then back. It's like a lot of the good calls in the game are based on him being the first point of contact, and Mars just by far looks like the best hero for that for him.
Yeah, I mean, I think his Mars is really good, and it kind of shows that his experience as a player and his ability to read the map really shines while playing a hero like Mars, who buys Blink BKB, as you know, compared to like the Zoo heroes that just walk around and farm. Sometimes it feels like, you know, when he played the Alchemist, to just go back to that, he can get into mode carry, you know, start doing the farming patterns. But when he starts like playing this Mars, he gets his dagger, he starts having his killer instinct. He's good at both, right? But I think this team needs him to be moving across the map and making plays.
Yeah, I mean, they just have the right balance. Like, it's just going back to what I said about Heroic, where they don't really have the right balance. They're trying to draft around too many people, and I feel like that oftentimes create a problem where you have a draft that has like some economical imbalances where too many people need too much out of the map, and it's very difficult to get it to work, you know, against the battle teams. Maybe in their own region in South America, people don't punish it as hard, so they feel confident with those type of strategies. But when you're here, everyone's a lot better in the laning phase. They do small little things slightly better, and it makes it really difficult to be greedy and get away with it. So the balance in the draft is very, very important.
The Mars wasn't banned, even though we thought maybe that could have been where they wanted to go Heroic, but the Mirana was taken out. They didn't like dealing with that one. Thought it was a little too good for the side of Tundra, and that was their opener last time. So what are they now comfortable in picking up straight away for themselves? They've left Omni and Viper in the pool that were previously banned.
That's a good question. We'll have to see. I mean, probably response to Enchantress. Everyone has their own response. We've seen Nyx be pretty popular. Usually if you can deal with the creep, it's typically addressing the Enchantress or having some way to deal with it. And Tundra, they're going to go for the DK. This is a hero that I'm starting to like less and less the more I see it, if I'm going to be honest with you.
I mean, what about on Tundra, though? I feel
they
like
love, yeah, I mean, there's always
the first guy doing
right?
this.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll have to see. There is always the exceptions where a hero does emerge from the meta because of one player, right? And that one player still believes in it and it's still good. So I will save my judgments for after this game. If Pure still loses with it, then I give up on this.
He played it once already and he lost with it.
Uh-oh.
Just so you know.
Well,
but Ramses has...
ruining it already.
Sorry.
I pre-give up on
well,
this
okay,
hero.
there's two times in which Tundra have picked it. And it's gone on Pure once, they lost with it. But it also went on Ramses, and they won with it. So, a little bit of flex. Maybe Pure wants to try and rectify his win rate with the Dragon Knight.
Maybe they just mirror the Enchantress. Because I do feel like DK, at the very least in the first like few levels, does not really care about an Enchantress too much. You need some extra damage there from maybe the carry and like position 4 rotating to kill a DK.
Yeah, but it can get ugly though. Like depending on the carry, like the Ench can pretty much make any carry that's good versus DK even easier to play.
That's right. You need a kill lane.
I mean, you're talking about when you're talking about mirroring, you're saying so wherever the Ench go, you're gonna go send your DK to that lane.
Yeah, maybe. Because they played on both the side lanes.
And I'm not really a big fan, even though they won with the offlane DK. I feel like offlane DK is really not my.
It is Ramses on another farming hero.
Yeah, I don't really like that. You know. I mean, he has that farming mode, but I feel like it upsets the balance in the team. And I think every time I see this team play, I feel like the two polarizing players that you should draft around and play around is either Topson or Pure, not the offlaner. So in the length of like the first half of the year, they've been like swapping out offlaners. I think a lot of that has to do with the balance within the cause. You know, they are trying to strike a healthy amount of farm across the board and trying to not overly draft around someone.
Yeah, I mean, I think we talk a lot about Ramses because you have to keep in mind that Thompson,
Roddy get
he's
first
just
bit
like a free spirit, you know? Like, you can't put limitations on this guy. You just have to let Thompson do what Thompson wants to do. So, that was that being
Somebody has to die.
Radiant team ban.
And like even on this team, it feels it has to be this. I feel like Thompson isn't that type of player. He says he's nulling down, he's getting more stable with it, but
Delusion.
he's
That's delusional. He's not, dude.
That's PR. That's PR training.
This
He's
guy-
told to say that, you know?
Anytime he streams, there's
10
like 15
seconds
more
remaining.
YouTube videos about the builds that he's doing. He has not mellowed down at all.
5 seconds
yeah,
remaining.
you have to let Thompson just
Radiant team
you know
pick.
cook whatever he wants to
Yeah.
cook. So, and you can't have too many cooks in the kitchen. It's gonna have to be
Chef.
stable and just
Dire
do
team pick.
you know work people nobody wants to.
I mean, this is something that it's always been brought up. You know, coaches drafting. Do you actually draft for the player?
PK, Snapfire.
10 seconds remaining.
It's a very fine line, you know. If you don't get it right, then the team is not going to work.
5
PK,
seconds
Snappy,
remaining.
fight,
Pawns, you know,
Yaki,
runs
Yaki.
in there that
Yeah.
are willing to do whatever it takes
Dire
to win.
team pick.
And they don't need that
Monkey King.
Oh, and then the sacrificial lambs. Monkey King. Well, actually, let's talk about Snapfire. Snapfire Dragon Knight could potentially be the lane combo that they want to go for on the side of Tundra. Might not happen as well, but let's talk about it as if they were
10
going to
seconds
be together.
remaining.
Where would you want to put the Monkey King? Is this something that you're looking at fine to be in the
5
lane with an
seconds
edge
remaining.
against that combo, or it's more looking for
Radiant
difficult
team
as mid
pick.
right now. But
Colossal.
so basically, the reason why Monkey King mid, I think, is almost would some dazzles and stuff where that and it got destroyed. At least you have a backup option of across the map. The one problem you have with Monkey King is that
10
there's
seconds
two heroes
remaining.
on the side lane, not one. So it's very difficult sometimes to get
5
that Jingo
seconds
stacks
remaining.
off and win those trades because you're pretty weak in level 1 to 2. Even if you do get stacks, it has been nerfed. You can't really anyway.
Radiant
Where
team
Monkey King, he
pick.
gets up to his level 2, level 3 very quickly.
Sniper.
Kind of like play. So basically, the more heroes Monkey's playing against, the worse play the mid lanes.
And it's easy for you to cross left and right, get in the middle. And you have the level advantage, sometimes it's a bad matchup, but you're still getting levels. And that alone is enough.
10
That
seconds
contribution,
remaining.
I think.
DK side lane though, do you let's say it's a DK
5
off lane.
seconds remaining.
Really obvious in the draft. Then do you pivot the monkey to be carry?
I think DK Snap will win.
Okay, I was gonna say, I do think that's a part of the reason they picked
Dire
Snap is
team
because it
pick.
makes it really hard for a monkey in a side lane to get Jingu stacks.
Yeah.
You just scatter blast him and
You scatterblast him, stun him, right click him, and
Yep.
walk away. He's half HP and like just rinse and repeat, right?
Okay, now this is interesting. One of these 3 heroes that were just picked as a core.
Sniper is like, I feel like I remember
10
them
seconds
running it
remaining.
on carry and mid.
It's 90%
5
likely
seconds
to be the
remaining.
sniper, 8% likely to be the Snapfire, and 2% likely to be the
Oh, that's a
hero
little-
with the Gleipnir.
2's a little high. I'd maybe get a half percent.
I mean,
You think it's a half a percent?
Half a
Thompson loves
percent.
Sniper and Snapfire, right? I haven't seen his Jakiro, but I tried it. It was funny, we were listening to the Ted, right, saying the heroes that he wanted to play mid on Ted, and he shut down Venomance.
Yeah, I was
yeah.
surprised.
But I literally saw Thompson play that in a pub.
I mean, they nerfed it right away. After,
Right.
after he actually abused it,
Yeah.
it got nerfed right away.
They're like, no more of that. That's not happening.
I mean, the Jakiro is kind of good here, getting some spot work, and getting off the trees to catch Monkey.
Monkey King in. Even just throwing down the Macro Pyre in the Monkey King ult is a lot of the time enough to kill him. He kills the
Makes it so
Enchantress.
you just
Dire
like
team
can't do it.
ban.
Yeah.
You know what would have been kind of a fun facet? I'm totally derailing this hero. Is if you could turn his ult from a line into like a circle instead. It's like to disrupt the kinetic field, but the inverse. Anyway, that's fair.
Anyway, I'm
I don't know,
10
but it's
seconds
funny.
remaining.
one of these 4 heroes is the Vailama, right?
5
Wait.
seconds
No.
remaining.
It's,
Team ban.
it's analog mid
First
Earth Spirit.
It's
Carry Monkey
Monkey
King.
King carry,
Okay.
And his hero's last.
and then
Yeah.
Enchantress Clockwork, and he's getting last pick on the fly.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good
I don't
sign.
know if I like the monkey carry, but Earth
After you
Spirit-
talked about it for 5 minutes, how it's better mid, we're not gonna run it mid.
And then also like
10
whether it's
seconds
sniper
remaining.
or snap mid, I feel like either of those
No,
matches.
5
no, he
seconds
doesn't.
remaining.
That's true.
I mean,
Which does he lose?
Red
You
Team
can kill the
ban.
sniper. You can kill the sniper later. Early, you're gonna suck.
Probably Snap is worse. At least you have the merit of Earth Spirit.
Yeah, but how good is
Mid-game.
Snap mid now?
It's really good. It beats like it
Why
destroys every
why
melee
Snap
hero.
mid? It's just to win the lane, or what's the other reason?
10 seconds
Maybe. I
remaining.
mean, I think in terms of in a side lane against a Monkey King,
5
who's better,
seconds
Snap or
remaining.
Sniper? 'Cause I feel like Sniper with the shrapnel, the new shrapnel, that's pretty
Dire
strong. I don't know how
team
you're
ban.
ever gonna get Jingu off without killing yourself.
Yeah, I'd rather have Sniper. I mean, let's just look at their hero, right?
I'm looking.
And don't Dire's heroes just look incredibly ugly together?
Yes.
Yeah,
I
but
agree.
what about how good are they?
Like maybe that's just like we know because we've been like pro players for and we played high level, but you look at these
10
heroes, it's just
seconds
a
remaining.
single target.
Yeah,
like,
sometimes you just get the feeling, oh my god, this is like,
5
this is never
seconds
gonna work.
remaining.
and then you look at like the massive AoE potential, all the items these heroes buy on Tundra. It's like, so basically Heroic's draft, the reason I don't like it is very similar to game number 1. This is like a playstyle preference. It's very much so playing all eggs in one basket, and it's like skirmishing. Like we need to skirmish, we need to make these small
Snowball the
fights.
game.
We have absolutely no team fight pretty much. We're gonna snowball the game, and if it doesn't work well, then you get into situations that like Devi was in last game where when it goes bad, it goes real bad.
I felt like they really wanted Darkseid though. Darkseid maybe could have been the thing that
Yeah, they needed like
They're banning
a
big
giga fighter.
AoE team fighters because
Yeah.
they realize that's what they need.
They needed something, yeah. So it's Devi Llama, last big hero, gonna win the lane, solve all the team fight problems, or completely entirely pivot on we're never fighting.
This last pick has to be absolutely bad.
It's
I'm
gonna be
curious
Centaur.
Okay, I mean the Dazzle Band, I'm not really that curious about it, but because that's like protection band there. But this Dragon Knight also still has flex between being carry or off lane. It's
That is
very
true.
open for Tundra. They have overall last
Dire
pick.
team
Heroic
pick.
have to reveal everything, and they're not even sure they're gonna get the better lane matchups. That's still not 100%. It limits your options a lot of what this last pick is going to be for Heroic, and you're already like picking apart.
I feel like it needs to be like some hero that's very hard to kick out from the lane, you know, some TP, some people as well. Because all the other heroes like to rotate and move around, so they need to have a
10
point that they
seconds
need
remaining.
to move to. He needs to be that type of hero.
5 seconds remaining.
Centaur's okay.
I feel like it
Can't
Radiant team pick.
solve.
What? Is
okay.
Alright, so Divine
Off
Llama
flank?
is gonna play Earth Spirit or Monkey. Offlane Inch, is that still a thing? Is that playable?
Yes.
Is that a meme?
Yeah, it's not bad, but I don't know.
I mean,
if
who's your support if
I think
10
Edge is on?
seconds.
It'd be
remaining.
Clock Slark and it'd
think
be
against-
Monkey King support with Inch.
Is it
5
just
seconds remaining.
Device being a Mar right now, and he's just gonna play offlane Slark into like a DK carry? That way, either their side lane is. I mean, this
Choose your hero.
is honestly not bad for laning because on both the side lanes they have Slark versus a Monkey King, or sorry, Slark
Yeah,
versus a
he's doing
DK
it.
or a Mars, or a Monkey King versus a DK or a Mars. Both of those side laners beat the side laners of Tundra.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but this is a
It's all on the
this
supports.
is literally a clockwork Slark lane.
You are correct.
这点上
This
完
isn't
大
like
样
some。hoodwink Slark lane. This isn't a Snapfire.
I mean, what are they gonna
It's a
do?
clockwork.
What are they gonna do in a team fight against like?
Schofield Clockwork too. He's not even gonna be in the lane.
I mean, the team fight wise, there's Mars, Jakiro, Snapfire. You have Earth Spirit, Alfie. That's it. You know? Like, how are you ever gonna win those?
I mean, it's interesting. I think Heroic, if they win this game, it's going to be off some individual, like, crazy plays or some ideas we haven't seen before. And it has to be Devi Llama. He's going all in again on the... So he has to find a way to win his lane here. But unfortunately, I think Tundra has just got all the heroes he wants, and it just...
Yeah, I mean, you guys already hyped up Ramsey's on Mars. He gets it again for game number 2, so feels like a lot of things are going their way right now, Jake.
If this were a different team, I might. If this were like Falcons that last picked Slark, then I would trust the ability to win the side lane so hard and execute and snowball. Because I do.
Crit would
think-
play a lane winner. Right?
Yeah, he would probably play a lane winner. But Schofield is not. I mean, Schofield likes the melee heroes, so that's why I think this does not look like that much of a heroic draft to me. Is the problem that I have. I think they're an excellent team. I feel like this is not an easy draft to execute, and also not in their comfort zone. And Tundra got what they wanted.
Okay, thanks for talking
for
so much. Winter, I do
battle.
want to quickly hear from you though.
Yep, easy game.
Okay, easy game. That's all you really need to know here. Looks like get some more information though before game number 2. Nomad standing by with our other coach.
Thank you very much, and yeah, sometimes I gotta struggle to come up with questions, and sometimes it's really easy. Offlane Slark, what are you guys doing?
Well, Kay's a hard hero to counter, right? So you gotta be creative. Felt like we had some good options there, but both teams ran out of time, and I think the Slark would surprise them more. And like we're just choosing between the classic ones, is Viper, Timber, or the Slark. Going for the Slark. Llama is really good on those kind of heroes. He just needs the bump.
30 seconds to battle.
Alrighty, well, it looked like you had a lot to say before the game because there was a big, long huddle. Can you just give me a bit of insight as to what you guys were talking about during the pregame?
Well, we're talking about how we think that we played well the first game. It's just that lanes didn't go the way we played, and then they had a really good tempo lineup. And we weren't ready for it, so we're just talking about that, trying to like go back to the
battle
to like our best way of like trying to get them ready for the next game, like the way they were for the first game. And
we don't have action in the game, so we are going to jump straight into it with Cap and SPG for game 2. Thank you very much.
That's right, welcome to game 2 of Heroic versus Tundra. We already had first blood on our hands. You guys saw Snapfire did go down, but Avery, I was really interested in, we were listening to Cavertado there, and he was talking about, you know, the drafts, being a draft yourself, being a coach yourself. Do you agree with that philosophy that they chose with, right? They needed an answer to the Dragonite. They think it's a hard hero to be able to counter. They had some options that were way more traditional, but they went for the off-lane Slark, something they've only played once before in an official, because they thought it would surprise Tundra, and they didn't have much time left in the draft.
There's some validity to that. I mean, there is some truth. Like, you pick something the enemy doesn't expect, they're not used to. It's a little difficult to formulate a game plan against it super fast when you have 20 seconds left or whatever, right? Yep. So maybe your items against it are going to be a little more off than something like Timber Saw you were expecting. But I do think the Timber might have sounded juicy. The one upside here, Heroic, as this draft, it's definitely wonky, right? I don't think anyone's going to argue this draft isn't wonky, but they have a lot of gap close. If there's one thing this lineup excels at, it's gap close. You have 3 cores with innate gap close abilities. They are 3 melee cores, but they can all just jump on top of you, and it's repeating gap close. Like, you have multiple leaps off of Slarkax, you have multiple rolls in with the Earth Spirit. The Monkey King can leap, Boundless Strike you, leap again. Like, in theory, the chase down potential is super big. Clockwork's another hero that can just give you an 8 gap close from level 6 onwards. So if you can just start to snowball this game and pick Tundra off across the map and just start running them down, create the chaotic South American Dota that this squad is capable of, that is where this lineup can shine. If you get stuck in more of a disciplined, slow, methodical game like we saw last time, where Tundra are running around with Thompson, killing a hero here or there, controlling the map, setting up for Roshan, you might have a difficult time just taking the straight up engagements in a 5v5, 4-on-4 situation.
Yeah, I mean, the panel was already talking about how they were doing something a little bit different before the Slark even came up, right? With the Earth Spirit pickup, they were talking about, is that going to be Llama's hero, or is that going to be running mid for Analog? And this is something that they have done before. Unfortunately, I'm referencing the same exact game that we referenced for the offlane Marcy's success that Heroic had in that game against Game of Gladiators. So it didn't work for, that reference didn't work in game 1. I'm not sure if it'll work in game 2, but we'll see. Maybe the Slark will end up working for them. This is something that they have done once in an official, and that was just a month ago. They did it in an online tournament. Obviously, very different situation here on LAN and against a very tough opponent in Tundra that they're already down at 1 game against. It does seem like they are very much all in on the laning phase, something that didn't work for them in game 1. Do you think the laning phase is going to go better in this second game?
I actually don't think it's that all in. Like, every game at TI is really pretty dependent on the laning phase. Divine Llama should get another
blocked up, and oh, wait. Okay, Schofield commits for it, does manage to get the kill, and he will not die to that tower hit. It's a bit low, but he has a healing sound, so he is going to be back into it. This double melee off lanes were actually working quite well.
I mean, the biggest factor, Devi Llama got first blood off that exchange we saw, so he just came to lane with an extra bracer, basically. He is raking in the gold right now. He is very farmed net worth-wise just off the extra kills. Get a couple extra agi stacks here, you're cruising. This Slark is in a very solid position, already level 4. I don't think this lineup is as dependent on the lanes just because I think the skirmish power is something people are underestimating a little bit. Like Earth Spirit Slark, if they get to like the first and a half items, they're pretty annoying in the fight. Tundra don't have a super early pipe buyer, for example, right? We're not going to see Ramses buy first item pipe on Mars here, I think.
Okay.
This Magnetize could be annoying. If you can gap close the sniper, you remove a lot of the damage from Tundra's lineup. I see the potential. There's a lot that has to be executed there, but I do kind of see the idea, and you should not underestimate how much the Slark can do in some of these early fights if he starts building up early stacks. Like, he can be annoying. And there's not a lot of control for him. You have Arena, but that's it.
Nice use of the cookie there from Soxa, but being in the 5 position lane has not gone so well here for Soxa. And the roll hit from Analog, he thought he survived, and all of a sudden, Analog from downtown rolls in and gives him a good kick.
They're gonna stay around here. They're gonna die. Dragon Knight potentially have the wave coming in. I mean, Pure offers nothing here in terms of trying to turn it around.
They're going to have Whitemon TP in as the Jakiro to try and help this situation. The dive is still going to continue, though.
There's bail. Good luck, team.
Okay, goodbye. Oh, the Shrapnel is going to be able to reveal Divine Llama. He's trying to get away, but the Shrapnel and now the dual breath slowing him down. He doesn't have a pounce to be able to jump out, so he's going to be relying entirely on juking through the trees, and that's just not going to work for you against 3 different heroes all looking for you.
You get a lot of TPs down here. Both supports again, and the sniper TP and triple Shrapnel drop from Thompson. It's a big committal from Tundra to try and turn this aggression around. You do get a big kill out of it in that Slark, slow down his momentum. It does cost you some resources on the map. I was going to say the one lane I was maybe the most worried about was the sniper versus melee hero mid, but honestly, Analog, he's gotten through it, and this would be a massive pickup if they can kill Thompson in the early game.
Thompson has made this rotation, but the supports have come with him.
Oh,
they hit him with a blood grenade, still might be able to make commit. As the Magnetize is taking him down, Analog has got the kill, no problem, and he's going to look for more. He's got Whitemon, now he's going to go for the support as well. Analog playing that beautifully. His Earth Spirit is top tier, and he understood in that situation, Magnetize is inevitable. They will be dying here. He's just got to make sure to play it slow and keep those ticks up.
This is the best spell for Heroic in this game, and the most dangerous one for Tundra. You get stuck in these early fights versus Magnetize, it's going to decimate you. They don't have early dispels, they don't have a lot of early healing or sustain to kind of power through it. Traditionally, you'd want heroes like Omni Knight, Abaddon, Undying versus Earth Spirit to just clog up the team fight, but there's none of that in this early game. It's just all spell casting. Analog can really put some pressure on in this game, and he's top net worth, just got triple Urn Charge on top of it. Early Vessel's going to put some more pressure on these big melee cores that Tundra have. Heroic starting to cook a little bit in this game too.
Absolutely. I love the fact
lineup, but making it work.
Analog created that opening himself through the pressure that he created in the bottom lane, forcing the sniper to TP, right? Sniper's not able to get back to that mid lane as easily. They catch him in the middle of the jungle as a result. And now, with the supports rotating back with Thompson and then dying, it left the Slark in a 1v1. So the Slark was one who died in that rotation, but it still worked out for him in the end because he gets some 1v1 time against Dragon Knight, just what he wants.
Taking advantage of the resources on the map. Heroic playing a little chaotic too, saying going back to the roots. I mean, that is a big part of it. Gotta kind of make the game unorthodox for Tundra here, so they aren't sure exactly what's happening, getting dragged around, and then caught in these fights that are disadvantageous. Trying to weather the storm right now. Ideally, you play around Thompson here because, like, this mid sniper is very strong in these early fights if you can put him in a good position. But his tower is just dead to this Enchantress. We saw this hero first pick for a reason. It did some work game 1 in terms of the objective taking, and AJ putting it to work here. Nice 2 minutes off.
That's right. True to his name, King Jungles comes out with the Enchantress trying to use the jungle to his advantage to take that mid tower. Does force a lot of rotations to protect that mid tower because it's a sniper, but that leaves Dragon Knight all alone.
This is one of those games where if you're pure, you're just like, what the hell's happening? Why is there a Slark Earth Spirit clock on me at like 8 minutes, you know?
Yep.
It's like one of those bad pubs where you can't tell if the enemy team gave up or not. It's like a Sky by Meteor Hammer, like what's happening? I just want to farm, guys. We'll see if he opts for the Midas in a maybe similar recovery position to what Hector was last game. But it's Hector going aggression this time. No Midas for him. He's just going the Gleipnir. This is not a bad position for Heroic. I feel like Tundra wanted more out of the sniper in the early game. And if you don't get Tops into a position where he's a bit tankier, you reverse so much gap close. I do wonder if this sniper is just going to get bamboozled. You have 6 heroes rolling on him in an edge creep, and the tower's gone, and there's night vision on the Slark to contest with to match you, and it's a spooky game for Topson right now. Yeah, not have a lot of frontline either outside of the bars.
They know, they see him, but Analog, a roll after a sniper, but he ended invisibility, so not going to be able to kill him here. Still going to be able to go for the ward. That gets denied by Soxa. They are getting it's off-lane tower area, and with the Enchantress creep, they could take tower shots if they want to go for the dive. But they opt not to go for it, maybe for the best. That could have been a throwy situation there.
Absolutely could have been. And I mean, Tundra, they did play it well. Like, they maintain their formation, protect the tops, and just back up. Invis Rune does some work. Not giving an opening there is really important, because this is where that Magnetize can absolutely shred them in the 5-on-5.
Yeah.
Still Schofield protecting their wards here. Does not want to let Tundra back into the high ground, and
they knew Whitemon could not stop himself from going up to that high ground and checking out this ancient stack that they have for themselves, but there will be the punish back. Ramses gets the arena onto Divine Llama. Nowhere he can go. He's going to be shot down by Thompson, and now they can maybe clear through that ancient stack, though. Gonna have to do it as a group if they really want to. Heroic is not going anywhere though. They still have this Magnetize used, and they've got the vision to be able to blow up Soxa. Got a kick to slow down Thompson, allowing Schofield to catch up. Now he's inside the cogs, and now he is screwed. He is stuck inside the cogs. The battery assault and Analog right there as well. Waiting to push back with God's Rebuke. They're doing the damage. He's actually gonna be okay for now. It's King Jungles committing for the kill, trying to get him, and he does manage to. Ever so barely, he gets his level 6, and it's going to be a slow death, if a death at all. He has a TP scroll, and he's got Hector bailing him out. No, the God's Rebuke stops him from being able to land, stops him from hitting that additional nuke. King Jungles will finally die, as it's going to be the supports limping over the finish line to be able to get these kills they're looking for.
I mean, this is South American Dota in a nutshell. You are getting dragged into skirmishes and fights you probably rather not take, but Thunder are meeting them head on, bringing the numbers. That's the most important part here. You do not want to get outnumbered. And a huge component of that fight, we saw Amp damage. Earth Spirit, I think, would have decimated that entire exchange. But he magnetized the first target he rolled on in Soxa, and Soxa immediately died. So this Magnetize just died with him.
Yeah, that is unfortunate.
And it costs him a lot here, because I think that would have been a great fight with the Amp damage room just powering it all up. Thunder happy to get through that exchange, get some Ancient Camps for the Dragon Knight. They'll beat out another support as Heroic continue to just pick up the pace and continue to swarm the ramparts here.
It really does feel like this is the exact same situation, just shoes on the other foot here, where Pure is just farming away as the Dragon Knight, and his team is being decimated.
Yeah, this looks like a mirror image from last game. Yeah, but he didn't go the Midas.
It's true. Maybe you should rethink that. Schofield will be caught trying to play too much around this triangle area.
Finity ကဘယ်သူကြိုက်လဲဆိုတော့ Sprit ပေါ် Sprit ရဲ့ Sprit ရဲ့ Falcon ရဲ့
He's farming the exact opposite side of the
Gladiator
map,
လောက်မကြိုက်
pushing in
ဟို
that
က
bottom lane.
Extreme Game ကိုပိုကြိုက်
Bet you wishes he was Wraith King right now with all this space, man.
It always does kind of weird me out seeing Hector playing a non-strength hero.
He's caught here,
and he should be dying. Here's the trickery. Can only take him so far, but if he gets outside of vision, good thing the kisses were used, because he was getting away and might have been able to jump into the trees. Soxa, wise as he is, opts to use the kisses for a hero that definitely needed it. That being said, a lot of heroes do show in the bottom lane. Thompson's got to be careful in mid, as he's still trying to work towards his Maelstrom.
And Tundra really played this last 2 minutes well. Like, this game could have snowballed very fast off some of those Magnetizes and Power Runes. Instead, they put all their cores in a decent position. Even Soxa found some solid net worth. And this Slark, who, if you remember, was the most farmed hero out of lane phase, he's at the bottom of the chart. Divine Llama just not finding that like crazy momentum he was looking for off these fights. They'll let this hero a little bit.
is going to find the Diffusal Blade very soon, and they'll take this off lane tower, which may mean, especially if he can get the Diffusal Blade in time, nobody takes the last hit, awkward, but they can maybe play for the 14-minute Wisdom steal.
I think that's too much. Too much to ask for here.
Yeah, fighting into this Mars is particularly hard so early on.
And these support ults are powerful.
OK 吧，OK 吧。
So this is a very risky maneuver. Though Tundra are a little out of position.
Heroic. This is going to be a situation where they have bitten off more than they can chew, as in the high ground, Pure to Stitty here. Cookie goes out, hits on a couple there, and Slark actually gets a little bit low, but thanks to his ultimate, he's going to be able to heal up and get away. Schofield, Centaur stomp, but they're still going to be able to track him. Schofield goes down, and Heroic indeed, that push forward into the 14-minute area does not work.
Lost the Magnetize again, and that was the Blade Mail. For the Earth Spirit, that's why Tundra just didn't want to commit on him there, but not the fight Analog's looking for in this early stages of the game. And once more, Tundra just bringing the numbers, maintaining close proximity, bailing each other out. There's just not a lot of openings there. It's a tough fight. I mean, you look at the map right now, in theory, you should not feel bad if you're Heroic, because you're continuing to push Tundra into this one part of the map. The bottom lane has been hit.
Oh, got him again! Ever so barely, but catches K1 Hector on the edge of the arena. And this is going to be a constant problem for him until he can get the shard or BKB on the Monkey King.
He's not afraid of the Monkey King here.
Apparently not.
Not a signature hero for Hector, I would tend to agree. I mean, these are two really bad deaths for Hector, right?
Yes.
Like, you're looking at the amount of space he has right now. He's had the entirety of this bottom
half
of the map to himself, and he is not the highest now. I think there are a lot like a Chaos Knight, a Wraith King, some of these heroes that could go the way. These two deaths that Ramsey's caught him have really slowed down the Monkey King's gameplay and kind of made this space making a bit of a moot point.
See that heat map. Oh,
it
is not translated to
That's a big deal. In fact, Tundra have completely evened out the net worth in this game.
Do you have your Diffusal on the Slark? You saw the Blade Mail on the Earthspear as well, pushing towards that vessel. This is kind of where these two heroes can shine in terms of the early skirmishing with the early power spike on these items. And you have your nighttime as well for the Slark vision. This is kind of where you'd want to aggressively make a move, smoke. Again, you kind of know where Tundra are. They're only in one part of the map, so you just have to force it and break them. We're going to see Heroic smoke up, try and swarm, maybe try and get a good angle here. A lot of this fight comes down to Magnetize, how much it can do, how many heroes it sticks on. You have max stones up, 9 stones to play with here if you're Analog.
They spot Zoxa, go for him. Arena goes out, immediately locks down the Spirit underneath the macro fire. They go for the hook shot though. They're trying to stick on top of Thompson. Thompson gets pulled away from Divine Lava, who sticks on a Pure instead. With the Magnetize on some of these heroes though, are taking down with a team fight. Oh, nice kick through from Analog, finishes off Thompson at least. And the Dragon Knight takes out as well. The Magnetize is still going on. He's going to get a third kill out of this situation, I think, as Whitemon thought about the TP away. K1 Hector finally shows up. King Jungles will be the one to claim the kill on Whitemon at the end. A 2-for-3 exchange that ultimately does go the favor of Heroic.
Her Spirit, I mean, it is a 1v5 machine, right? Everybody there is just a meat shield for this guy to get the job done. And he gets it done. 8-0 and 5 start, by the way, for Analog here.
Crazy.
He has absolutely owned this game. The second he rolls in there, he got Magnetized on everybody. That team fight is over for Tundra. It's just a matter of what you get out of it at that point. And since he got the Blade Mail off on the Spear for Ramses, you can't all-in commit on him. He has too much HP right now. So you gotta get to these Dispels. Early BKBs for Tundra are gonna be their answer. It's gonna be second item BKB for the Mars and the Dragon Knight here. That's gonna be a big deal if you can get to it.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a very clear difference in these team fights. The team fights, the 2 team fights where Magnetize hits multiple heroes, they demolish. Heroic wins that fight. But then if it doesn't, then, you know, the team fight actually goes against them. What happens if you get BKBs on all these heroes? Like, what's carrying the team fight at that point?
You're going to go into the Valley, I think, with this lineup, if you're Heroic. That mid-game period where Tundra have Dispels or Sustains, like a Greaves on a support or something, it's going to be way harder for you to just force those skirmishes straight up. And you're going to have to maybe just farm and split the map a little bit. Maybe play for a Roshan fight, get your own BKB, something like this to trade out those durations for Tundra, as
Oh,
this here.
Yeah, Analog managed to get the roll away, I think, from Ramses in time before the spear hits him. And from what you're saying, it sounds like Heroic should try and keep forcing fights while they have this window before they hit the Valley of the BKBs. And with Arena on cooldown, that may be a great opportunity for just that.
bro, select
Or at
off
least
lane.
out-farm Tundra. You can be okay with corralling them if you're getting more out of the map, which I think they have been in that position, but again, some of the bad deaths have cost them that lead. Analog is very farm, so if he gets his own BKB, you can just trade out BKBs. But again, you have to be careful if this Magnetide's getting dispelled in that type of situation. Still, do not underestimate the scale here on this Earth Spirit. He is still an absolute beast in the late game with 5 or 6 slots. You're looking at like things like Shiva's Octarine, whatever it is. He's a monster.
Yeah, and he doesn't right-click for a totally insignificant amount.
No.
With that facet.
But you will hit this mid-game valley a bit, and Tundra are going to look to take advantage of it if they can with this BKB timing. Look for a smoke gank of their own. Try and get a pick off, maybe translate it into Roshan. You're still looking to recover your sniper in this game a bit. Thompson will finish up the Gleipnir. Adds a bit more control and damage to their team fight.
Gleipnir 1, Gleipnir 2.
Will be the Deso for Ramses. He's eyeing it up this game. Does love this build. Gives him a bit more physical to shred through these 3 melee cores.
Yeah, they, I mean, you were talking about how important a pipe could be for the lineup of Tundra. Instead, they opted for just triple BKBs.
Yeah.
Do you think this is do you like Ramses going for the damage approach this game?
If you're going the BKBs, yeah. Like, I don't think you're going 3 BKBs potentially and then getting a pipe. I don't think it makes too much sense to me.
Sure.
You're just going to try and outscale him here. Put your Dragon Knight in a position where he just out-man fights everybody.
Well, he is out-man fighting this tower.
Dire's middle tower has
Owned it.
fallen.
Shories at mid, gives them a power room to work with. Heroic maybe are already falling back on that play to, you know, split the map as much as possible. I mean, look at them. They are on the borders of the map.
Yeah,
quite
it's
literally.
time, right? You do not want to force this fight up into the DKB timing Tundra have. But your lineup is solid at splitting the map. Like, you have 3 melee cores, but again, they're all elusive. Kind of annoying. The Slark's going to give you some extra D wards that you can play around. The Enchantress can also split push some ways with creeps. So you're not too inefficient in playing this type of game, splitting the side lanes, splitting Tundra up. Their lineup, you look at Tundra's lineup, it's very limited on the catch. And their lineup thrives in the straight 5-on-5 and objective-oriented fight, but catching heroes on the map just comes down to Ramses finding heroes with this arena. That's it. It can be a bit clunky for them if the map gets split this hard. Then it comes down to a question of, well, I mean, who wins ultra late here between these 2 lineups going head-to-head? That is a tough question to answer, honestly, because both these lineups scale very hard between 3 cores. It probably just comes down to itemization and execution in the late game.
Sure.
Dire's top tower is under
And I mean,
attack.
Hector Monkey King. Question mark. What does that look like, right?
Yeah. He's going to work towards a BKB. They're going to take the Tormentor real quick, though. A little bit more efficient for Heroic than it was for Tundra. They get a jetpack for Schofield. So more opportunity as he's been hanging out in this bottom lane. More opportunity for them to be elusive.
Yeah, they're being really annoying right now. They are getting more out of the map. Their supports have found a bit of extra net worth. They don't have the Midas Earth Spear or something like that, but Analog is keeping up there at the top. Just had such a good early start. And that is something else to keep in mind. There is a big streak on this Earth Spirit as he finishes the BKB. So if Tundra can win a team fight and collect some of these bounties,
Dire's middle
a lot of
tower
hidden
is
gold
under
there.
attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Smoke gets them a very nice aggressive ward, though it is spotting out a Slark right now. We'll see if Dubai Llama managed to make the read that that ward just got placed there.
They're very split, but they want to go triangle here off a scan. That's what they're really looking for.
They find the monkey again. Trickery dodges some of the damage, but yeah, he was farming up some ancients, I think. Got super low off of it. Outlines on Ramses. He says, okay, no problem. Pops BKB, walks away.
Did he actually not heal off that Tormentor?
No, he
Is that
did
what
not.
that was?
He was walking because K1 Hector plays for efficiency, farm efficiency if nothing else.
I actually just assumed he went to heal.
No. As mobile as Monkey King is, he did not want to take the 5 seconds it would get to take it back to Fountain.
Honestly, such a Hector. I mean, he
Dire's top
what a
tower
beast.
is under
It
attack.
does not pay off here, though, as that is an easy kill for Ramses to collect.
Divine Llama trying to catch Soxa and get some extra attributes for himself. Doesn't find it. And Pure still in this area. Hit him with the jetpack cogs. Lock him down and annoy him for half a second at best.
You gotta remember, though, that is a play that Heroic are making without the Monkey King.
Yeah.
And Tundra are backing up there. They did not want to take that fight. Kind of interesting. As we weigh the strength of these two teams in an actual 5-on-5, you do have that BKB complete the Earth Spirit, so in theory you combine that with the Monkey King BKB, you could start to look at that head-on engagement. Tundra didn't really get what they wanted out of that BKB timing, I think, which it's not terrible here, because you wanted them in this game no matter what. You want to scale with them. They're mainly here for things like the Roshan fight and, you know, Pure being able to commit in to something like a Wukong if it gets dropped, but so we'll give time for Hector to meet them on that battlefield after a couple rough pickoffs. Still kind of feel like you'd want to get the fight going right now if you could, if you're Tundra, especially during this daytime. You got 50 seconds left. Or just force the Roche like you have. Sure. Pretty decent single target physical burst here with the cores.
Yeah, you've got Chrysalis done for Pure. If you're willing to pop Dragon Form to be able to take that Roshan,
I think you are.
Sure. You could do it pretty easily.
They're eyeing it up. It's gonna be close this nighttime.
Yeah, it's gonna switch over. If they commit for this tower.
Oh, they want to fight. Monkey King BKB is done. You're still looking for this Deso on Ramses, so he's missing some network, and it's a big flank coming through.
Yeah, let's get the wraparound, and they're gonna find the supports immediately. Then Shakiro's gonna be the first one to be gone on here. He does manage to get off his ice pad, macro fire, not too bad, but it's gonna be a BKB, K1 Hector, Analog hits the back line. He found what he was looking for. That's gonna be Sapphire, and the sniper caught in his assault, and that means the other two cores gonna just BKB TP away, but Ramses didn't make it out.
Kicked out to the Magnetize, I think, right? Got him at the end there. That was a post-TP death. Yeah, I think it was a Magnetize. No, it was a Magnetize tick.
Oh.
Got re-procced on him even after the BKB and just runs out. A brutal fight for Tundra. The kind of daytime started fight, they did not win, and so much of that is the gap close. Analog finding the back line immediately on the tops, and this is the weakness of this lineup this game. If the sniper gets gone on and these heroes just BKB start hitting him, you have nothing to bail him out. There's no BKB control in this lineup. There's nothing like an overgrowth or something to, you know, recreate the gap so tops can go to work. It's just boom in the middle of an exchange like that. That is a big win for Heroic in this game. And they get an Aegis on Hector. So now, my friend, you can go and get picked off if you want.
Tundra have made a lot of good reads of Heroic's movements, but that one seems that they completely caught Tundra off guard.
Yeah, they just didn't have the right angle. This Earth Spirit was immediately on them on the backside. And you get some good damage out of the Jakiro, but these cores can't take down the Monkey and BKB Wukong anyway, so it's kind of wasted here.
Yep.
And Analog just got the job done, man. I mean, this hero has been beastly this game, no way around it. In fact, what is he up to now? He's 9-0-7, level 18. He is enjoying life.
I mean, it just looks so much better than the last game where the lineup's still a little greedy, I think, but at least they have one playmaker in the cores.
It makes a big difference. They have easy initiation. They can find the angles. They can be creative with it, right? That's where this team thrives. It is nighttime, but Tundra looking to push in, have the high ground ward, trying to play around it, find a straggler, find anything. Been a struggle for them outside of a couple arenas. They haven't really been able to start the fights.
You can see Divine Llama, he's got the gem. He knows there's a ward there, and he wants to de-ward it, but he does not approach the ward once he sees it. He doesn't do it either, because he knows Tundra is going to play around the vision that they have.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
If he goes for the D-ward, he's potentially getting caught. Even if he dark packs, he could still be stuck inside an arena.
Depth shot for it, but
Radiant's bottom tower is
his team directly behind him. He takes this ward, and they smoke off of the vision going down on the side of Tundra. And it looks like Whitemon's gonna get caught up in this one. Heroic, I think They want more. They want something different. That's why the jetpack and why they didn't him too. Oh, the hook shot from across the field catches Thompson. They wanted something better off that smoke, and by golly, they found it.
Ward saw him running up there, got the rocket flare to land, and easy lineup for Schofield. Made the correct play, which is go for more. Heroic, they can start to snowball this map right now. They have every ability to do so. And one of the big things in this game is like you have initiation sources between the cores here and the DK and the Mars, but if you jump in with a DK or Mars to try and latch somebody, and you drop a Depth Shroud on that hero.
Yep.
That team fight seems a little awkward, like especially if you come at BKB.
Hit him with a Dragon Tail immediately. That damage, it adds up pretty quickly. Oh, we juked him. They thought he was going to roll upwards, but he actually rolled to the right, juking the attempted blocks.
I do not know if he should have gotten out of that one, but
no, I don't think
he will live to fight another day. He's a big life.
He's going to roll after them anyway, despite his BKB being down. They still want to take this team fight with K1 Hector's BKB, but it looks like it may come from Ketra. It's trying to help him out, but the Kings are going to come in and they'll do the AoE damage. In fact, Divine Llama, he's going to TP away underneath his own ultimate and Depth Shroud.
Heroic want to bail. That was a risky fight to take.
It was.
Maybe on the Earth Spirit. That just felt like you were asking for it. And again, that was the big streak to collect. Went to Soxa here, I think, so he gets the 1,000 gold for it. Happy about that one?
Well, I don't know if the rest of Tundra's happy about that one.
No,
like that gold could have been better on somebody else, but it is what it is.
Soxa takes what he wants.
That's true. Yeah, he took 9 classes spot, you know?
All right, well. You don't have to phrase it like that. I think that was a little over the top. Off.
Daytime is coming, Avery, and that means that Tundra are going to be happy to take fights, I assume, right?
They should be. You have to start thinking about this next Roshan. Like, you still have a minute left on stages if you're Heroic, but if you're Tundra, the way you win this game is you get a Roshan in this game, and then you start to push with an Aegis Dragon Knight. So if you can wear through these periods where kind of nothing happens, and set up for that, in theory, you're not too sad.
Yeah.
But I get, of course, this is a long way away, and you still have 40 seconds here for Heroic. I don't think they're going to get another fight out of it. So you kind of waited through this Aegis period if you're Tundra. And you can start to think about the next one, what that looks like, what you're going to gear up for in terms of that head-on fight. BKB will finish for the Slark, and you're going to get an Octarine for the Earth Spirit here, plus one more item for Hector. Should be the Ags he was eyeing up. He's pretty much finished with it. Monkey King is gonna scale that. It's gonna be kind of a beast.
Yeah. I guess the question is whether or not they have the lockdown to keep heroes within the Wukong's command, within the Aghanim statues.
Ramsey's flirting with danger here. You know there's a gem.
He just figures that if the Slark is going to see him, he's going to be able to blink away faster. Analog would be a great pickoff, and he's getting hit with the Spear Arena combo. His team, though, is not able to follow it up immediately, and Analog gets off the BKB, and he can walk away from the team if he wants to. Hector's right in the middle of all these heroes, but he just got burned out. Macropyre, Ice Path, and just raw physical damage from Pure is enough to put him down, and it's going to take Divine Llama out of the fight as well.
Analog trying to clean something up, but he finds nothing here as Ramsey's TP's out of time. A very disjointed fight for both teams as the cogs in the arena separated both sides there, but Pure is standing and delivering right now. This Mask of Madness Daedalus just ripped through Hector. Did not have the survivability.
No, I mean, he took so much damage before he gets off the Wukong's command. Right, like that Wukong's command gives him all that bonus armor, but if you die before it even goes off, basically.
Look at how much this Dragon Knight's doing right now. Yeah. Sword on top of all of it, he's hitting for 450, basically 500 a hit. If you crit on any of those, it's a nightmare right now for anybody on the side of Heroic, because you don't have the big armor items up yet. You don't have a Shivas, you don't have an AC, you don't have a Butterfly. You don't have a
Whoa, Thompson! Okay, he has baited Analog. The hook shot comes across, though. Still threatening these heroes. Analog's going to roll away. Schofield may not have that same luxury, but he does have a Glimmer Cape. That protects him, and Tundra just trying to full out before Analog can catch them. And they all do manage to get away, at least for now. Schofield's still hunting with the jetpack, but without a hook shot, it's not going to mean much.
I'll be honest, some of these exchanges, like, I don't know who is trying to bait who. Somebody's wrong in these baits.
What was Thompson's game plan there exactly?
I think he was trying to bait somebody to like overcommit in while they were still missing some heroes and weren't set up.
So you think he knew the sentry was there and they could see?
I don't know, man. It's such a weird play, honestly.
Too hard to get into the mind of Thompson.
I've tried for years and I've given up, so you just accept what you see. Trust it as reality. Nonetheless, he has recovered in this game. He's top 2.
He has. Something that I was surprised. I mean, I thought it was good Ramses going the Deso build because I wasn't sure if Thompson was going to be much of a force in this game, considering all the gap close.
Just looking for the early start. He has kind of everything else. The invis with the Shadow Blade, the grenade, the Hurricane Pike for some disjoint. Get that BKB, you can get rid of the Earth Spear problem that's plagued him. Tundra hitting a very strong point in this game, and Mjolnir for Pure. Ooh, if they do not manage to stun him and wear through some of his HP at the start of the fight, I think he's the ultimate beast here.
What do you think of why the Mjolnir exactly?
It's just so much damage, man.
Okay.
And you have like monkey soldiers and random stuff that can proc it. You can also throw the charge on on the Mars or somebody else if you really want to. Okay. It's just so much damage. It's overwhelming. If he gets to stun Hector, for example, you might just die in a stun here. There's Depth Shroud that can bail out this monkey, but
yeah. There are some interesting saves, right? We got the Depth Shroud. We also just picked up the Shard for the Earth Spirits, and now he can pull allies away. Meanwhile, though, Tundra, they've got Cookie, they've got the Concussive Grenade. There's a lot of weird saves, I would say.
Both sides have some ways to bail out their cores. You're gonna have to stand and deliver. Hector will look towards that butterfly. That'll be his kind of pseudo-defensive item of choice to deal with this Monkey King. Mjolnir does help you through that a bit. I don't think Pure's gonna go back for an MKB or anything.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
You want to get as much done with this DK right now as you can, because nobody's contesting him. And again, this is that like next Aegis period I talked about a while ago. Tundra geared up for it. If they can put a second life on this Dragon Knight,
tower has fallen.
Absolutely untouchable. You're gonna need a lot of Sark stacks to get through that.
That is a big if, though, because we are stuck in this cycle of nighttime Roshans.
We are. Favors Heroic. It's a dire side outpost Roshan during nighttime for the Slark, but the vision right now is being controlled by Tundra. They're set up and they have the position. So if they want to hold this high ground, you negate a lot of that advantage.
At the same time, there is vision thanks to the clockwork, and they also know with these other lanes pushed in that Tundra's up here.
By the way, very limited buybacks available for Heroic on this dire side. You only have Slark and Clock.
Okay, so Divine Llama, maybe he's got to be the one to start things off, but they managed to hit the hook shot, or excuse me, the arena on Schofield, who was looking for a hook shot opportunity. Well, there's going to be your first buyback, 1 of 2 for Heroic. Divine Llama, he's going to put himself on the front lines here. Start going on to Saxo, defensive for himself, but Analog gets on top to Thompson with Hector there as well. It's easy for them to get the kill on the sniper, who does have a buyback though. He's going to use it now. Kiss is going out. Clockwork, a die back for him. A roll in to be able to stop those kisses though. And now Sox is up next, but a spear bails him out for a second. They turn around, throw so whatever damage they can out to Analog. Pure's taking a lot though, with 2 cores on top. Look at the damage though. Oh, it's adding up quick. He's taking out 1 core. The AoE's brought Hector low. They'll finish him off with a triple kill. Maybe an ultra as he looks now towards the Enchantress to slowly get him down through that ultimate, and they will win that Roshan fight engagement. Now they're not going to go for Roshan immediately. It's still not up, so let's hit some high ground.
Just a beast of a team fight from Pure. Nobody was touching him there, and you have to think about the target prioritization here from Heroic. They were going for everybody but this Dragon Knight. It works if you can stay alive, but that's the big problem. You can't stay alive versus guy right now. Pure talking to his teammates here saying, yeah, you like that fight? 1v5 there, bro.
I A-clicked them.
I sat in the middle and I did what I had to do. I mean, they found Thompson at the start. Analog gets on top of him from a crazy angle. Yep. Sniper can't bail himself out. You use Clockwork's buyback to get rid of the arena at the start. Hector's BKB is very early here, and it does cost him in the end. I don't think the ideas were off, but it's just nobody can deal with this Dragon Knight, man. The damage is overwhelming. Boundless Strike puts him in an awkward spot, but then right here is like,
oh yeah, Red Dragon Central. Look at that splash damage, man.
And Thompson's able to come back into this fight on the high ground through the gate. Yeah, it's a big deal. His buyback counted for a lot here. Thunder had all the others available as well. So, too many lives to get through here.
So, they do manage to get themselves a Roshan and... Wait, did they? Yep, the Aegis. Oh, okay, it's just a small little icon. It's on Thompson instead of the extra life on the Dragonite to go high ground.
Reward him for his buyback usage, and Pure probably feels like with Satanic, he cannot die anymore. I can't believe that. I feel like now the only point he dies is if you do kill everybody else and can bring him down 3 or 4 on 1. You were having issues surviving that. Also, that buyback cost Thompson his BKB right now.
Sure.
So you got to give him something to play around with here. Hex for Ramses, more initiation power, and
makes life a lot harder for the Monkey King and Slark, and even the Earth Spirit. These very mobile heroes.
Need the Shivas on the Earth Spirit too, so he can actually tank some of the Dragon Knight damage here.
Yeah.
Analog is having issues standing his ground, as is the rest of Heroic. I mean, Hector is not faring much better. I don't know if this butterfly is really going to do it anymore. Thunder pushing their advantage.
They're going to hit the high ground. Pure with 4,300 HP. One life is seemingly pretty good for him. Divine Llama, oops, sight, but he has the Dark Pack going. Quickly pops BKB for fear of his own life, but that's exactly what Tundra won out of that. They got a little bit of ability and item usage out of him while still pushing forward. Taking the tier 3, now the barracks to fall. The damage adds up though from the Enchantress, gets Pure a bit low.
Put the DK in a position where you can all in him somehow. Could be interesting, but your lineup, kind of difficult to do that. Maybe you can hook shot, cog him back or something.
Yeah, and use like Depth Shroud to make it so he can't target anybody with that Satanic.
It's a tough ask.
Yeah.
And right now he's pushing the advantage, got the tier 4 item advantage as well here.
It seems to me that Heroic have just called that they're not going to fight until they finish up what I assume is the butterfly that Hector's trying to farm up.
He hates that Tron.
He does. He does.
Messing it up. Yeah, Hector is trying to finish this item. He will finish Butterfly here on the Monkey. Feels all in though, like you gotta win this fight, or you're going lower bracket here.
Not letting the deep ward happen. Thompson protected. They go for the roll in on the Dragonite though. Bouncing him up. Well, he doesn't have Dragon form for a couple more seconds, but he does get low, but not good low enough. Meanwhile, K1 Hector is trapped inside Arena inside. No, he's dead. No, the butterfly didn't matter. He just got controlled and killed by everything else. Divine Llama's trying to do what he can. What all he could out of this was an Aegis. That being said, a TP away, but Pure's not TPing back. He said, you can leave if you want, Ramses. That's fine. I'll carry this game, and I'll finish it off by myself.
I mean, TI winners are TI winners for a reason, and Soxa, he just caught him with a cookie. Sometimes that's all it takes for a game to end and for a team to end up in the lower bracket. Is a sick connection from Soxa on the bottom side of that fight. Takes Hector out. No.
没法好记你啦，你是不是？记你啦，ဗျာပွဲကတော့ပြီးသွားပြီလို့နိုင်ရေကူပြီအဲ့ကောင်ပြီးသွားတော့ဆောင်းဝမ်းပြော့တယ်လုံးဝနိုင်ဝမ်းကနေရှေ့ပြော့တာโอเคပါ see you ပါ brother တို့ရေအောက်ပါတက်တာပါ15ရက်နေ့ပြန်လဲတွေ့ဆုံကြ